Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Latimer Park. It's a sunny Latimer Park for this Evo Stick League South Central Premier game. Kettering Town, the Poppies, against Hitchin Town, the Canaries, John. And you'll be able to hear this game live here on Poppies TV audio. Yes, we have John Dunham from the Telegraph with us, and another Canaries fan, but a different Canaries fan on this occasion, I think, John.
Yeah, I support the real Canaries.
The real Canaries. Hopefully we'll be speaking to and interviewing one of the managerial staff after the game, and also one of the players. This is our last game before Christmas, and we could do with some festive cheer after last Saturday's game at Banbury United, who previously had drawn 0-0 with Stourbridge prior to our visit. That's when the Glass Boys overtook the Poppies at the top of the table by 1 point, and that was extended to 4 points as we were humbled 4-1 in a very disappointing display against the Puritans, John. And there needs to be that magical word again, bounce back ability again today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're having a little bit of a wobble, aren't they? It's I don't think it's too much to read into yet, but this festive period they've got coming up now, Kettering, with the games involved in it, are huge, because they've got obviously the home game today against a Hitchin side who are rejuvenated a little bit from where they were earlier in the season. And then Bedworth, who are obviously bottom on Boxing Day, and then 2 huge games with Kings Lynn on the Saturday, and then obviously AFC Russia and Diamonds here in the local derby on New Year's Day. So it's a huge festive period for Kettering, and yeah, they can ill afford many more mistakes at this time, I think, Cookie.
Yeah, it seems that every team that Kettering play against recently have been in the inform bracket. Hitchin, in fact, beat St Ives on Tuesday 1-0. They thrashed Hales Owen 5-1. They beat Russell Olympic 2-1 away, and beat Barwell at home 2-0. Drew 2-2 with Leaston. That's the last 5 games. They were thrashed by Stourbridge 3-0. Up until that point, though, they'd only won, I think, one game, and they've won 4. It just put Kettering Town under a lot of pressure today, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I mean, just on Hitchin, I was at the game between them and Russian and Diamonds at Hayden Road, and it was just after they'd gone out, because they had a really good run in the FA Cup. I think they got to the first round of the FA Cup, and for the first time in their history, I think. And yeah, and actually in that game, I was quite impressed by them. Particularly impressed by one player that I'm sure we'll come to a little bit further down the line, but. They didn't look a particularly poor side that day. Certainly not a side who were languishing in the bottom 3 like they were. And so it's been proved. They obviously had the defeat at Stourbridge, but ever since then they haven't really looked back, and they're on a really good run. They've beaten some teams who are down there with them, but they have beaten them. So they're on a good run. I think they're on the back of 4 wins in a row now, like you just said. So yeah. They are in decent nick. So this is a big game for Kettering, because they've got to beat a team who have very much got their tails up and very much in form.
So the way Hitchin started off, of course, Kettering beat them 1-0 at Topfield on the first Saturday of the season. They then humiliated at Needham Market 8-1 on that time, and Lowestoft beat them 3-2 before their first win against Hitchin's first win against Redditch. They had to wait then until about 3 weeks ago when they beat Barwell 2-0. So they actually went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games without a win, and they've hit form. So hopefully that form will drop off today. We'll give you the Kettering Town team now, if you've not already heard or seen it on social media. In goal is Paul White. 4 is Brett Solkin, 5 Gary Storer, 6 in captain Michael Richards, 7 is Lyndon Meikle, 9 Dan Holman, 11 Rhys Honus, 12 Dion Kelly Evans, 14 Marcus Kelly, 16 Luke Graham, and 20 Adam Cunnington. And your subs, just 4 for Kettering this afternoon. 3 is Ben Tosland, 8 Aaron O'Connor, 10 Ben Milnes, and 18 Nathaniel Rowe Turner. So that's your Kettering side. We'll go through the Hitchin Town side just before we kick off. But it does mean that there are 4 changes from last week's display at Banbury, and we can say that Declan Towers is not fit.
No, yeah, he's been struggling for a little while. I'm not entirely sure what the problem is, but I know he's been playing through the pain barrier a little bit. So it's obviously just got a little bit too much. And if you're going to make that sort of change and rest players up, then you've got to do it around this time. They've got 4 games in 12 days, something like that. So, and they've got some big games coming up where they'll want him fit. So they're obviously hedging their bets a little bit, I think, today with him and leaving him to rest. But like you said, I mean, look, when you've got beaten 4-1 away from home, no one's got any complaints if you get left out in the next game, I don't think, because, you know, something has to change, and change it has. You know, he's brought some troops into that team. I think the likes of Solk and Storer, you know, they're players who will roll their sleeves up on a shall we say, you know, a not the best of surfaces, you know,
a difficult surface.
Yeah, a tricky surface. They will roll their sleeves up and they'll get stuck into the game. So, you know, Luke Graham the same. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me that he's made changes today, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
It will indeed, and also it sees the return of home anyway of Adam Cunnington, who's now played 28 times for the Pompey, 6 goals since his debut in 2011 against Newport County. He came from Billericay. Back with Marcus Law again. We saw really he was the player of the game at well, for Kettering anyway, at Banbury. Didn't have too many opposition against him for that, but it'd be nice to see Adam back. He was a decent lad, good goal scorer for Kettering in his second season with the Poppies before he went to Dagenham. And again, the firing line with Holman up there as well. It's a good combination, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that should be the area that is giving Marcus Law the least of headaches. I would think at this moment in time. You know, it's gone from one extreme to the other to an extent. You'd always back them to score a goal, but earlier in the season they were keeping clean sheets. Their defensive record was outstanding, and just in the last 4 games or so, they've just started to leak goals a little bit. So they've got to try and plug that and let their front players do their thing at the other end of the pitch. But Adam Cunnington is a good player who obviously started out with Marcus Law back in the Barwell days when they were going up the leagues. He obviously signed for Kettering from Barwell shortly after Marcus Law came over to for his first stint in charge back in 2011. You know, so. Yeah, he has gone on to have a very good non-league career, you know, with some big clubs along the way, and scored plenty of goals in the process as well. So him coming back has strengthened that front line even more so. You know, if you've got Aaron O'Connor on the bench, then you know that things are strong up there. So, yeah, he is a good player. He's a good character. I like him. You know,
no Drell Berry in the side.
Yeah, well, like I said, after you've got beaten 4-1 away from home, then maybe, you know, haven't heard anything that he's injured. So, you know, maybe he's one that is
rested.
Yeah, maybe he's being rested. Maybe he's one that's fallen from last weekend. I don't know. I don't know the reasons why. It'll be a question for the manager afterwards. But yeah, like I say, when you're having a little bit of a difficult run and then you get beaten 4-1 away from home and beaten badly by all accounts. You know, I wasn't there. You were there, but it sounded. You know, I was listening to you guys on the radio, and it sounded bad. So, you know, changes were always going to be made. So there you go. Changes have been made, and it's up to the other guys who maybe haven't featured as much to come in and try and help turn things around a little bit.
Facing Kettering today is Hitchin Town. They line up like this. In goal is Michael Johnson, 2 Jack Green, 3 is Noah Chesmain, 4 Jay Dowie, 5 Dan Webb, 6 is Lewis Perrell, 7 Michael Kane, I won't do the joke, 8 is Josh Bickerstaff, 9 is Ezra Forday, 10 is Isaac Galliford, and 11 is Alfie Cure. Subs are 12 Scott Belgrave, 14 Matt Nullen, 15 Dejangs De Silva, 16 Craig Packham, and 17 Vladislav Bursra. You know, you mentioned before we came on air there that there was one person really who stands out in that Hitchin side.
Yeah, the 10 Isaac Galliford. I went, like I say, I watched that game at Hayden Road between Rushen and Hitchin, and he is probably just about the best player I've seen in this division this season. He is a good footballer. He really makes things happen. He really, you know, you'll notice it when you watch the game, but when they've got the ball at the back, he's the one they're looking for. He'll drop off the front man, and he'll try and get the ball at his feet, and he'll really make things happen. And he was very, very good in that game at Hayden Road, so he's definitely one to look out for. I think he's fairly young as well, so I think he will go on to much bigger and better things in the future. But yeah, keep an eye out for him, because he's as good as I've seen at this level this season.
How pleased will Hitchin be that Aaron O'Connor is on the subs bench? Of course, this time last season, or the game this time last season at Latimer Park, it was a 4-1 win to Kettering, with O'Connor getting all 4 goals.
That's right, yeah. It's an interesting one with Aaron at the minute, because You know, there's other strikers who have come into the fold who, you know, are pushing hard for starts, and you know, he had the terrible injury in pre-season, which was a real blow to him and to the club. You know, the team managed to get through it, and to be fair, I don't think he's done a great deal wrong since he came back into it. But you know, Marcus Law went with the 3 strikers, didn't he? All 3 of them in the team at Banbury last weekend, and maybe that didn't quite work the way that he hoped. So one had to give way, perhaps, and there you go. That's the way it is. So you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it's not a bad player to have on the bench, is he?
He's not. Games against Hitchin have been very tight over the last few seasons, mainly 0-0 draws, what I seem to remember. 1-0, of course, at Topfield earlier on in the season, the first game of the season. But we're going to do a few little adverts now, but the highlights of today's game will be on our website later on in the week, and on the official website as well. Also, we hope to get some of the post-match interviews on there as well for you to see. And if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. It doesn't cost anything. We need to reach 1,000 subscribers so we can make a bit of money for the club. And we are currently on a fantastic 896. So we're getting there. Only a few off there, 14 or so off. And that'd be great if you can do that. If you do go onto the Poppers TV website and you voted on Goal of the Month for October and November, I can inform you that the winner was Lyndon Meikle's superb strike against Stourbridge. We'll get that clipped and put on there a little later for you to see that goal as well. In 6 minutes' time or so, outside at the ground, the league chairman, Terry Barrett, who also is from Hitchin, will be presenting Kettering Town with the Team of the Month award for November. So they've won it 3 months out before. Not so sure they're going to win it in December, no, but they've certainly won 3 of the 4. And looking at the league table here, despite Kettering's little blip there, they are still 10 points clear of the team in 3rd place and only 4 points behind Stourbridge with 3 games in hand. So it's not all doom and gloom. And also, this time last season, Kettering Town this season are 1 point higher, or more, shall I say, than they were at the same stage. So there we are. We'll have a look at that. Obviously, when the scores come in later on tonight, there are some good games to watch out for. Probably the game of the afternoon, maybe, is at Biggleswade Town against Kings Lynn, who've been rejuvenated. Biggleswade lost last week, which was nice. Redditch United are playing FC Rushen and Diamonds, who are in the mix as well. They're in 4th place. Royston against Alfchurch. Alfchurch have pushed themselves back up there. And Stourbridge against Barwell in recent weeks. You say that's a home banker for a start. But Barwell, as you said pre-match earlier, that there could be a difficult game for them. Yeah,
I don't think that's a gimme by any stretch for Stourbridge. I think Barwell have just had a great result in the win. I think they won 6-1, and good old Henry Easy is there with them now as well. So yeah, I think
he scored, didn't he, on his debut?
He did. I think he scored 3 minutes into his debut. So I think Barwell will hopefully, from Kettering's point of view, go there and make it quite difficult with Stourbridge. Just say I don't think that's a gimme by any stretch, but that's a big game, Biggleswade and Kings Lynn, because like you just mentioned, Kings Lynn are really starting to motor a little bit. I mean, they're some way off the pace as far as the top 2 are concerned. I mean, if you just look at that table, you know, I mean, Stourbridge are at the halfway point. Kettering are 3 games obviously behind them, 4 points behind them. You know, it's difficult to see, unless there is a massive collapse from either of them, it's difficult to see how the rest really come into the equation.
Well, bubbling under, we've got Colville and Leiston, and we've got Stratford Town, who are making
they're doing well,
a pretty good play of it since Tom Bailey and crew of and the Kettering Reserves have gone over there and done really well, haven't they? He's certainly turned them round, and they're going to be an interesting last game of the season. If
the battle for the playoff places already is really shaping up into quite a thing, because there's quite a few teams and there's not much between them at all. So I mean, Kettering and Stourbridge really have pulled away at the top. You know, 10 points already, you know, just shy of the halfway mark is asking a lot. You know, if you go on the fact that the second half of the season will follow some similar sort of pattern. But for Kettering, the games in hand, when they come, will take care of themselves. What they've got to do, mate, for the time being now, given what's happened, you know, there's been a blip. That's the way football goes. You get blips. What they've got to do now is they've got to stay in touch with Stourbridge. They've got to stay in touch with them all the way up until January the 26th, I think it is. when it's
Stourbridge Saturday, isn't it?
When it's Stourbridge against Kettering up in the West Midlands, which is going to be at this stage, and you look at that table, is going to be a huge game, even bigger than the one here not that long ago. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like you say, it is a blip, but it's not much damage done at the moment. So you've just got to stay in the hunt. You've got to have a good Christmas and then go again in the new year.
Well, Kettering's fixtures read like this. On Boxing Day, Wednesday, is Bedworth United away, and please note this in your diary. It's a 1 o'clock kick-off. That's 1 o'clock at the Bedworth United. The last Saturday of 2018, Kettering faced the difficult task of Kings Lynn away at the Walks. That won't be an easy game. And then the testing game on January the 1st, 2019, at home here against Rusden and Diamonds. And I can tell you that that game will be segregated and will be a policed match. It'll be very similar to the last season's game against Hereford. The area of Station Road will be allocated to the visitors, with food and drink facilities and toilets all brought in, with a turnstile entrance created as well. It's the only way we can accommodate the fans to provide seating, which we are required to do. Alamaska very kindly allowed their car park to be used for this game, and we again thank them for their help. The clubhouse will be stewarded and is only open to home supporters. So if you are from Rusden Diamonds, please don't try and come into clubhouse, as you won't be allowed in there. And please respect any decisions that are made by the safety officer and the police.
It's going to be a big day, that, isn't it? It really is. I mean,
well, it's coming straight after Kings Lynn as well. You couldn't ask for two probably bigger matches of rivalry. I mean, the Kings Lynn and Kettering over the years has really developed into a bit of a feisty affair, to say the least, hasn't it? And the Diamonds, of course, is always going to provoke some sort of a reaction with the fans.
The way I see this, you know, from my point of view, as someone who's following both clubs, which is, you know, what I do, you know, it's great that we've got them both in the same division. But the one thing I possibly did, and this is no disrespect to Russian at all, the one thing I didn't, I thought they'd do fine. You know, I thought they'd be all right at this level. I had no doubts that they'd be all right, but I didn't quite expect them to be where they are right now, and they are right up there, and in. You know, like we've just said, we're approaching the halfway stage, and they're in for a right shout of getting a playoff place. So this game on New Year's Day, regardless of what happens between now and then, is just going to be even bigger than you thought it might be. You know, you knew it was going to be big anyway. But also, just, you know, the Hillier Cup, again, without being disrespectful, the Hillier Cup and the Southern League Challenge Cup and everything, they're great. But these two meeting in a league game is just going to be something else. And yeah, that is going to be some day on New Year's Day. And you know, the one thing I just hope from it is that I hope that both teams turn up. I hope both teams play well. I hope all the fans behave themselves, and if they do, we'll have a decent day.
Yeah, let's hope that game does go ahead. It's always sort of hit and miss, isn't it, around that time of the year due to the weather, but so far so good. It's the first year I can remember, but pre-Christmas we've actually not had a game postponed. I think last season we had one postponed prior to Christmas, and that was due to fog, if I remember correctly. But there we go. After Rusden and Diamonds on the 1st, we have Tamworth on the 5th. That's a home tie as well. Then we're away at Colville. We've got Biggleswade at home and Royston, all difficult fixtures. It doesn't get any easier, but if you're going to be champions, then you need to win these games. So that will be an interesting one there. So there we are. That's that. And you may have seen in the Telegraph and also on social media that the Poppies Supporters Trust have launched a tin hat fund in order to improve the Morrison's end of the ground. And it's going to have a stand like the tin hat at the other end of the ground at Station Road, and it will be able to be moved to our new facility such and when that is desired. But it's going to cost a staggering £25,000, which is going to be a huge effort from everybody involved to raise that sort of money. The Trust will be launching several fundraising initiatives starting on New Year's Day to try and achieve this goal, but anybody can donate to the cause by paying into the Tin Hat account. Details can be found on the Trust website, Twitter and Facebook. Donations can also be given to any Trust board member, and there will be bucket collections at Martin Bellamy's table within the club out throughout the season. And remember, please support the Tin Hat Fund. Please do that, and I'm sure that they'll be delighted to take off the money from you and try and donate it to this worthwhile cause to improve facilities here at Latimer Park and eventually at our new home. Well, time is marching on. We'll be going upstairs very, very soon to our commentary team of myself and Gary Foreman. I think that he'll be up there. Teams are not out yet. I'll give them a shake of the head. But it is a pleasant day. I think if we'd had more rain, though, John, this game might have been in doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it really came down last night, didn't it? I was out and about yesterday evening, and it was really heavy. So yeah, they've done well. The pitch has taken it, which is a good sign for the upcoming weeks, because you'd probably venture a guess that the weather isn't going to get much better for the next month or two. So yeah, it's good news, and all power to the work that's been put into the drainage of the pitch, and the work that Graham does on the pitch as well. It's all power to everyone that's made it happen, because like you referred to, the last couple of games that have been here with the rain that has fallen in previous seasons, they would have definitely been off. There would have been any question about it. So whatever they've done has worked well, which is great. Because you always want a game on a Saturday, don't you? You
do. It's so often these games get switched to Tuesday nights, and no matter what, it's never really the same, is it? No. Crowd-wise, anyway, just before Christmas. Hopefully there'll be a good attendance this afternoon, despite last week's battering at Banbury. But that's gone. We want to forget that now and get on with today's game against Hitchin, which will be no walkover. I do think it's going to be a heck of a tussle. It always is against Hitchin Town, if I remember correctly, but they are a good side. Mark Burke certainly gets them fired up out there, and looking out there, it's difficult conditions. I think it's very, very boggy, as you mentioned. I went upstairs on the gantry before we came into the studio to have a look at the pitch, and as we said, if it had been raining any more, this game I think may have been in doubt in certain areas of the ground.
You're not going to, when you play at this level, you're not really going to. It's unlikely you're going to get a good pitch at this time of the year. You're not going to get a bowling green of a pitch at this time of year. So you've got to learn how to adapt to it. And I thought actually the last time we were here against Lowestoft, the pitch was particularly wet and cut up a little bit. I thought Kettering actually played the conditions a lot better than Lowestoft did that day. So they'll have to do the same again. It's going to be a battle. It's not going to be a day for floating. No, it's not going to be a day for intricate passing moves and everything like that. It's going to be a day for rolling your sleeves up, getting your knees muddy, and really working hard, and say with the ammunition that Kettering have got on the bench, those substitutes will more than likely come into play as well, because it's it'll be energy sapping out there as well for them.
It will, and if ever there is a Santa Claus around, we do need him to give us an early present this afternoon of 3 valuable points, because we can't let Stourbridge get too far ahead of us. In theory, they should beat this against Barwell. That should be a foregone conclusion, but as John said, you never know. Barwell are in form. I understand that the team's like in the tunnel, so I'm going to clamber upstairs along with John to get onto the gantry to get ready for the match, along with Gary Foreman. We'll be here at half time, or up on the gantry, and we'll be here at the end of the game with some interviews with staff and players. So for the time being, there'll be a pregnant pause for a few minutes while I clamber up there. It's Kettering Town, the Poppies, against Hitchin Town, the Canaries, live here on Poppies TV Audio. purple patch at Nen Park before he joined Dagenham and Redbridge. So we'll see what Adam can do now here this afternoon. Tall, imposing player, a lot of experience, goes alongside Dan Holman. 4 changes, Gary, from last week.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see 4 changes. Anybody that went down to Banbury from a Kettering perspective will have come away very disappointed with the performance. So it's a shake-up from Marcus. That in itself is not unexpected, but it's a little bit like Groundhog Day for me, Paul. This month has been. It's a question of Kettering asking the same question: is this a turnaround game for Kettering? Can we bounce back? And against opposition that have suddenly found some form in recent weeks. So every time we stood on the gantry, we've been talking about those same things.
Bounce back ability, I think, is the word that I hate to use, but we're having to use it quite often.
Unfortunately, we are this month. Very uncharacteristic like from Kettering up until the month of December. Our form was, well, virtually immaculate. So it's got to the stage now, though, that Stourbridge have got the 4 points clear. And yes, we've got games in hand, but again, it's going to be about what Kettering can do today. And I suppose some people will be looking at the formation that we start with today, so we'll try and relay that to you as soon as we can. But it's about players not making individual mistakes as well, because there was far too many of those at Banbury.
There were indeed, and looking at the state of the pitch, which is very, very waterlogged to a certain extent, I think there could be a lot of slips, mistakes, and it's going to cut up really badly. And I said if it had been raining prior to kick-off, I think we may have struggled to get this game on, but a remarkable job done. It's going to be Hitchin to kick off, playing from right to left, all in green. Kettering playing in their traditional red and black stripe shirts. And we want to apologise for the sun that's been into the camera for the start of this game as we're about to get underway. There's a fair crowd in, not too many from Hitchin from behind the goal, if that's where they're stood, but healthy attendance from Poppy's fan Marcus Law down here, having a quick word with Mark Burke, and we're off. Hitchin get us underway, and ball has gone out of play. Alfie Q couldn't keep that one in, so straight for the kick-off. It's a throw-in to Kettering on our left-hand side. Dion Kelly Evans with the throw-in. The sun blinding us once again, as it does at this time of the year. It should go down. Elliot Evans trying to find Cunnington. Loses the ball, but Kelly gets it. Pumps it forward towards Honus, who's preferred to O'Connor. Cunnington flicks the ball to Holman. Holman trying to find Honus, but it is Peril that puts the ball out. It comes off a Kettering player, and a throw-in to Hitchin. Midway in their own half on the right-hand side here at Latimer Park. To where we're commentating from. On camera today we have Ed Palmer, and Ryan Griffin is producing downstairs in the studio as Luke Graham tries to find Meikle. Meikle pumps the ball forward. It's going to be a chase for Cunnington and Green. Green delays it, heads the ball unfortunately not too well. Cunnington underneath it, might try a snapshot, doesn't it? He's in the penalty area, turns. He's got Kelly with him. He's got to flick through to Meikle. Meikle feeds the ball through, but he flicks it straight at Michael Johnson. Good move, and first blood there to Kettering as Johnson bowls the ball out to Alfie Curious over the halfway line into Kettering's half, being chased by Richards. He comes inside of Richards, beats them both. Graham can only pass the ball forward to Q. Q still with the ball, he falls over it. Solkin stops it going for a corner, and he then is fouled by Q on the byline as it looked like it might be going out for a corner.
Yes, end-to-end start there. Kettering, as you say, with the first shot on goal, the outside of the boot from Meikle, but fairly comfortable for Michael Johnson. Not the former sprinter in goal for Hitchin today. But
we've not seen him yet, have we? So he never knows.
Well, I think we could tell from the gantry that it's definitely not the sports pundit now as he is. But hopefully it would be a busy day for him.
Yep, Paul White then gets us back underway towards Cunnington, who lets the ball through to Webb. Webb again gets the ball, only to Kelly Evans. He pumps it high towards Honus, but it's beaten by the Hitchin defender. It's flicked on by Richards. Now it's Webb going to put the ball out, being pressurised by Honus. He does. It's the throw-in to the Poppies, right-hand side, not too far from the corner flag. Holman takes it quickly to Honus. He turns, goes inside the penalty area. There's Honus. being harassed, but he gets the ball to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans gone wide, thought about it, putting one in. He's found Meikle. Meikle outside penalty area, comes off a Hitchin player and a throw-in to the Poppies. Early pressure here from Kettering. Kelly Evans to Meikle. Meikle back to Kelly Evans. Oh, he does a nice dummy there, puts one ball in, it comes over to the back post, there's Cunnington, but don't think he can get ahead on it. He can't, he turns, he's being chased by Jack Green. Cunnington still with the ball, needs some help. Storer's there, Gary Storer with his beard, puts it in towards Honus. Honus flicks down, might try a shot, can't get a shot. It's in the penalty area, he's turning, he's twisting. He's got Holman with him, it's still Honus, he's done remarkably well. And his shot goes high and wide of Michael Johnson. But again, good work there from the Poppies.
Yeah, encouraging start from Kettering. They're obviously trying to take the game to Hitchin early doors. The formation, in case you are interested, is definitely a 4-3-3 again from Kettering, with Kelly, Richards and Meikle in midfield, and Rhys Ernest up front with Cunnington and Dan Holman.
So Michael Johnson then with this goal kick, won by Q. He's found Forday. Graham beats Forday to the ball though. Richards pumps the ball high. I might get a touch, Ed. Yes, Ed. Another touch. Another touch.
That was handball, Paul.
It's handball, wasn't it? That's my 4th touch this season in the from the gantry. Ed Palmer 0. There's Sulkin. He's going to have to clear this one. He puts a long clearance in towards Cunnington, the halfway line. Cunnington flicks on towards Honus, but there is 5, Webb. And he does well to stop the advancing Kelly. But the advancing Meikle gets it to Cunnington, who slips, but he finds the ball wide to Holman. Holman puts a square ball in. It's cut out by Q. He put it back in the penalty area, and that's just hacked away by Hitchin towards Luke Graham, who pumps it back in. Honus would have been offside if he'd have gone for it. He's not now. Cleared by Hitchin. Sulkin underneath it, being chased by Forday. He gets the ball to Storer. Storer, a long ball towards Cunnington, but he's beaten to it. It's scrappy, but you'd expect that in these conditions. Q with the ball. He finds the number 3, Chesmain. He finds Q again. They haven't advanced into Kettering's half. They have now. It's towards Bickerstaff, but Kelly Evans is going to try and shepherd this ball out. He's had to touch it, and it is a throw into Kettering by the corner flag right down on our left-hand side in Kettering's half. And not a lot on for Kelly Evans at the moment. There's no movement. He's now found Holman. Holman puts the ball back to Kelly Evans, who pumps it towards Cunnington. Cunnington flicks it on to Honus, but Webb beats him to the ball. That is won then by Dowie. And there's a foul there by Bickerstaff on Richards, and a free kick to the Poppies just halfway inside their own half. It's going to be taken by Paul White, who comes out rather gingerly, squashing the turf down, I would say. It looks a bit spongy. A bit spongy already. Certainly there'll be no gameplay tomorrow on this pitch. If this year.
No, hopefully
today's
not a game until New Year's Day.
So White takes this kick. It's won by Cunnington. Cunnington tries to find Sulkin, who wins the ball. It's Holman's underneath it, but out comes goalkeeper Johnson. Stops the advancing Honus. Slows the game down. He's the goalkeeper in all purple. He stands out. Paul White in all yellow. So Johnson gets the ball only to Richards, though. Heads it back. It's been chested down by Green. He found Forday. Forday to Q. Q can only hit the ball at Kelly Evans, and that's a Hitchin throw-in. Quickly taken. Chesmain with the ball. Richards intercepts. It's in the boggy part of Latimer Park. It flicked on there. Lovely ball from Cunnington, but unfortunately Honus wasn't aware of it. Cunnington not happy. He said, "Come on." That's some of the words. And Hitchin retrieved the ball midway in Kettering's half, the number 7, Kane. But it's pumped back towards Cunnington. Cunnington heads the ball, a little deft header, but Honus again can't get onto it. Cunnington looks furious. And it is a free kick, in fact, to the visitors. It's just inside the centre circle in the Hitchin half. Nice December afternoon, clear.
No rain, sun descending in the background over Kettering, over Brown over there. Ball pumps in towards Q. Q can't do anything with it, and that runs out harmlessly for a Kettering Town goal kick. Of course, on Boxing Day, Kettering are away at Bedworth United. Please remember that is a 1 o'clock kick-off. And then on the 29th, the last game of 2018, the Poppies face Kings Lynn Town at the Walks. Another feisty affair, oh joy, yes, at the Walks. Before that,
we always get a warm welcome
game
there, don't we?
We always get a very warm welcome at Kings Lynn. And Paul White slips as he takes this goal kick. It's won by Q, puts it straight out for a throw-in. Richard Lavery getting the new ball. And the old ball has been replaced. Kelly Evans to Meikle. And that is a Kettering throw-in. It came off Q last, right in front of the dugout. Kelly Evans to Meikle, who slipped. Back to Kelly Evans, trying to find Holman. They want offside, but the ball finds Johnson. Flag didn't go up. Johnson delivers a high ball towards Salkin, who does win the ball. He finds Kelly Evans. But Kelly Evans' ball goes to Hitchin, centre back, who just balloons the ball out for a throw-in. It's not going to be a game for the purists, this one, not with the conditions of the pitch. It's not too windy, which also distracts from the game, but certainly not the playing surface to see amazing football.
No, it's a pitch level. It actually looks quite a decent pitch considering the amount of rain you had. It's only when you get up high on the gantry like we are, you can actually see all the brown marks and big patches of excess water that are still in the top bit of the turf. So yeah, it's difficult conditions.
Well, Hitchin in Kettering's half, defending number 10, who's weaved his way through. Kelly Evans gets the ball only to Dowie. Dowie plays the ball back to Perel. He squares the ball to Q on the left-hand side by the byline. He's going to put a ball in. He does do. Back post. It goes over everybody. And Gary Storr is left to mop up the danger. Runs away with the ball. He's advancing halfway into Kettering's half. He finds Honus. Honus turns, plays the ball back to Storer. Storer puts the ball towards Cunnington, who's being held back, but does well. He finds Kelly. Poor ball, though, by Kelly. Didn't find Holman. And away goes Chesmain. And he's brought down by Holman rather clumsily. And that's going to be a free kick. Referee wants a little word in Holman's ear. Not quite sure what he's going to say there. Something like, don't do that again, mate. Oh, that's Michael Caine, isn't it? Sorry, that isn't it? Got to get one in somewhere, haven't we? You know.
Yeah, cheeky little flick there from Dan Holman to bring about the left back who'd advanced into Kettering's half and getting a stern talking to.
So it's going to be a free kick. It's going to be Chesmain to take this. It's about 10 yards in Kettering's half in the centre of the park. Stourbridge have taken the lead against Barwell, which is bad news for all Poppies fans as Chesmain takes this free kick. It's to the back of the area. Paul White now under pressure here. He doesn't come for the ball, but Kelly gets the ball only towards Storer. He heads it out. That could have been dangerous for Kettering, but Richards pumps the ball towards Honus, who's being looked after by Jack Green, and Green puts it out as the ball goes down the tunnel. And another ball might be required. No, a steward has got the ball back. And it's quickly taken by Honus to Storer. Storer back in the starting lineup. Trying to find Cunnington, didn't reach him. It found Caine instead. Caine again. Flicks the ball on towards Forday, who's on the far side. Salkin, though, robs him of the ball. Plays the long ball for Honus, but it's cut out. Only towards Kelly. Kelly now, he's got three round him. He goes, beats one, he beats two. Still Kelly with the ball. He sees Meikle, but it's cut out by Hitchin, and Dowie comes away with the ball. Q's gone to the other side of the pitch now, trying to feed the ball through to Galliford, but Paul White, right on the edge of the penalty area, comes out to collect it and has the ball in his hands, wiping his gloves on his shorts to try and get some extra grip. Very muddy out there. They'll definitely want a shower after this one. Paul White takes a touch as Galliford tried to hurry him up. Cunnington wins that, but gives it away straight away to Q. He finds Caine. Caine now on this left-hand side. He's got a bit of room to move. Holman's after him. He flicks the ball through to Chesmain. Chesmain He finds Q, is now in his original position on this left-hand side. Gets robbed by Holman. Kelly Evans plays the ball back to Luke Graham. Luke Graham with the sand wedge. And I might get it again. And it's just gone over the gantry and onto pitch 2. And a nice puddle over there. So nearly my second touch of the afternoon. Chesmain fires the ball through to Q. Q rather luckily chests that down, and ball goes out of play, and that's a throw in to the Poppies. Kelly Evans down there with it. Kelly Evans then to Holman. Holman back to Kelly Evans. He flicks it through towards Honus, but that's cut out by Green. And Graham wins that one. Meikle slips through, beats the mud trap there, gives it to Holman. Holman squares the ball, but gives a loose ball away. It is Chesmain. Chesmain to Webb, but Webb only finds Graham and miskicks it. And it is Forday, does well. He flicks the ball through to Kane. Kane might try a shot here. He weaves one way, does try a shot, and that just goes over the bar. And but a good move there from Hitchin, and there are quite a few Hitchin fans behind that goal mouth, probably about 30 or 40 of them. So they've travelled down, and game before Christmas. I wonder who's going to get the 3 points if 3 points are on offer at the moment. It's even Stevens. No direct chance for either side. Looking at the side, the giant that Cuddington is compared to anybody else on the pitch, it's quite remarkable, isn't it? How tall he is, Land of the Giant.
Yeah, he'll be hoping to get some joy out of the centre halves. I mean, the centre halves aren't short themselves, but that's why Adam Cuddington is in today. It's that kind of game for him, really, to when you're going to have to go long, probably quite a bit in these conditions, to be honest. And it's up to Rhys Honus and Dan Holman to work with him and get the knockdowns.
Well, it is, and it is Richards getting the ball to Honus on the far side. Honus trying to flick through to Cunnington. Cunnington gets the ball to Kelly. Kelly comes inside. He's in the centre of the park. Flicks it through to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans putting the ball in towards Cunnington. Out comes goalkeeper Johnson. Easily collects, and Honus screaming at Kelly Evans, wanting the ball on the far side. But Johnson's goal kick only goes towards Graham. Graham puts it to Richards. He was a long ball. The cries of offside, but nothing given as Honus now with a bit of space. He's got Jack Green in front of him. Might come inside him. Goes outside him. Might try a shot. Does. Cannons off Green. Back to Storer. And Storer! I thought that was in, but that hits the netting at the back of the goal. It was a wonderful low drive. And from this angle, I thought that was in.
Side netted, I think, Paul. But yes, just for half a second, you hope for the best. And but the fans behind the goal were applauding the effort rather than the goal itself. But good shot, Gary Storer.
Well, Luke Graham having to win that rather importantly, but it's been given away, but robbed by Meikle. Now Meikle's over the halfway line. He's got Honus on the far side. A good ball there from Meikle to Honus. Kelly is with him. Cunnington's going into the middle. Here comes Honus running at the defence. He's inside the penalty. Put the ball through, but cleared by Perel. Only towards Storer. Storer to Richards in the centre of the park, but runs into trouble. He runs into Kane, but he's able to get back, and he gets the ball to Luke Graham. See what I did there? And it is Kelly Evans flicking through to Holman. Can Holman keep this in? He can keep this in. Down the byline, it comes off a Hitchin player. It's in the penalty area. Hooked out only towards Meikle. Meikle can shoot from this distance. Seen to do this before, but he decides to put the ball wide to Holman. Holman inside the penalty area. Left foot. Turns. Under a bit of pressure, though, from the number 3, Chesmain. And the ball comes off Holman for a throw. And I thought Kettering were going to capitalise on that, but they didn't. And it is a throw-in to Hitchin Town. And 0-0 here at Latimer Park. If you've just joined us, you're listening to Poppy's TV audio. We are recording this, so we'll get a full highlights package later in the week as Kettering tries to get the ball forward, but it's hoofed out by Hitchin, only towards Salkin. Salkin gets the ball into the Hitchin half to Meikle, to Richards. Richards puts the ball through. It's a chase on now for Honus and the number 5, Webb. And Webb puts that one out. And advantage towards Kettering. I think that is a corner.
Yeah, number 6, Peril, just getting his foot on that to concede the corner, which Kettering take quickly.
Yeah, short corner to Honus. Honus outside the penalty area, puts the ball back to Kelly. Kelly left-footed, puts a high ball in towards Cunnington. Cunnington can't win that one though, but keeps the ball from going out. He's got nobody with him at the moment. He needs to find a Kettering player, or they need to go and help him. He's being hacked by 2 or 3, and another corner now. Good work there from Cunnington. It's a corner on the left-hand side by the turnstiles, and Kelly runs over as the wind now picks up and begins to bite into our hands. You need to wear gloves if you... There's that hard man Ed Palmer's not wearing gloves. Gives me a fist pump, I think. But it is Kelly with the corner outswinger towards Cunnington. He wins the header there, and it goes... it was Graham, actually, not Cunnington, straight at Michael Johnson. He bowls the ball out to Forday. Forday with plenty of room if he can control the ball. Takes 2 touches too many. Holman tries to rob him, but still he gets the ball to the number 3, Chesmain. Chesmain to Forday. Forday goes down. A foul there by Kelly, and that will be a free kick. Tonight in the clubhouse, there's the raffle draw. So if you have bought raffle tickets, the prizes will be dished out and redrawn if you're not there. No kidding. But... Martin Bellamy will be getting a list of all winners out on various sites, etc. So if you have bought tickets, your prize will be waiting for you. As Chesmain is about to take this free kick just inside Kettering's half. Everybody in Kettering's half, bar the goalkeeper Johnson. It's down there with Forday. He thought about using Bickerstaff. He hasn't. He's still got the ball. He's got Gallagher. Gallagher inside there. Good ball there. Free header. And Paul White catches at the back post, but good work there from Isaac Gallagher. That was John Dunham's star player. He noted before the game, so to watch out for him. Ran the show at the game at Hayden Road. So John Dunham trying to take some credit, but there we are. It is Holman to Chesmain though. Stretched by Kelly Evans, but he only concedes and putting the ball out of play. A throw in. Been taken to Forday. Forday down on the left-hand side by the corner flag, being marshalled by Kelly Evans. He gets the ball back to the number 7, Perel. It comes in here. Back post cleared out by Storer, but only towards Bickerstaff. Bickerstaff puts the ball out towards Q, if Q can keep this in. He can. He's down by the conflict. Comes off Storer. And a throw-in to Hitchin on the far side by the smaller stand over there, the seated stand over there, the small tent variety that we have at Latter Park. It's going to be another player, the number 2. It's going to be Jack Green now to take this throw in. Still hasn't been taken. He's now going to be a long throw in by the setting of the... it's not a long throw in. They've changed again. Q back to Green, cleared by Storer. Storer gets the ball to Honus. Honus on his own at the moment. Trips, falls over, still keeps going, and gets the ball to Richards. Did very, very well there, didn't he? And there goes Richard. Meikle, he was pulled back by the number 5 Webb. Referee waited to see what advantage there was. There wasn't any, so he's given Kettering a free kick. And referee having a word with the Josh Bickerstaff about that. So it's a free kick. It's just by the centre circle, right in the middle of the park. And it is going to be Marcus Kelly who's going to take this. Although Gary Storer looks interested, but it's going to be Kelly, just leaving the Kelly Evans at the back in case there's a counter-attack, but it is Marcus Kelly. In it comes towards Luke Graham, but cleared by Hitchin, and that ball going to be cut out by Forday, who does quite well to, and a throw in to Kettering, much to the displeasure there of Gallagher, who thought it was a Hitchin throw in. Kelly Evans has the ball in his hand, has found Holman. Holman chests it down, he's got 2 round him. Holman still with the ball, left-footed, flicks the ball through, but it's only gone to the number 8 Bickerstaff. He gets the ball through to Forday. Forday to Kane. Kane has got Q through. Q one-on-one here as Braxelkin intercepts, and that's gone out for a corner. It was a good move, though, by Hitchin. That could have been danger signs.
Yes, it looks as though Alfie Q was on goal, but Brett Solkin timed his run well, read the play well, and important intersection. But it does concede a corner, and this is the first one I think that Hitchin have had today. We all know what happened at Banbury. Let's hope that the training has paid off for Kettering at the back.
It's going to be Galliford with this corner. It's a low corner to the unmarked number 8 who fires. That's Bickerstaff wide with his left foot, but he was unmarked, wasn't he? No one was challenging him.
Yes, unusual corner really. It was neither short nor long. It was an intermediate one, and Bickerstaff was on his own without a Kettering player, about 4 yards, the nearest Kettering player. But a weak effort, fortunately, as far as Kettering were concerned.
Well, we should laugh with their offering advice on that set piece. I won't be describing what he said, but Paul White gets the ball out towards Cunnington. Cunnington is beaten to it this time, though. Evans wins the ball back to Cunnington. Bit scrappy as it's going to be in this mud bath. Forday heads the ball on towards Galliford. Galliford, though, is robbed by Graham. Graham falls over in the bog, and he gives the ball back to the number 7, Kane. Kane is fighting with our number 7, Meikle, and it goes out for a corner. So second corner in succession here for Hitchin. It's going to be Galliford again to take this. And we just hear the bad news that Stourbridge have increased their lead to 2-0 against Barwell. So that puts more pressure on Kettering at the moment. But Galliford with this corner. It's another low trajectory, straight this time at Marcus Kelly. He gets the ball out for Honus to chase. Honus does well. It's headed out by Hitchin, a Kettering throw-in just by the halfway line, well, a few yards by the halfway line. It's going to be Kelly Evans to take this. Sun going down now, which is great for us and the cameraman, because we can see what we're doing.
Yep, temperature will drop though. There's always a downside, Paul.
So Kelly Evans trying to find Holman or Cunnington. Cunnington is sprayed to the ground, nothing given by the referee from the resulting pass. Solkin gets the ball. And it's a chase now for Honus. He's got the number 6 in front of him. It's going to be Honus that wins that, and a bit of inconsistency there from the number 6 Peril, but it's going to be a throw-in, and the referee wants a quick word with Peril after that encounter. Honus completely ignored it. It was right in front of the linesman, but it's only a throw-in to the Poppies. Kettering's fans behind the goal begin to find their voices. Meikle is on the byline, he's inside the penalty area, he's going one way, and it's put out for a corner to Kettering. And it's going to be Kelly trotting over there. 0-0 here at Latimer Park, the last Saturday before Christmas. And I said Christmas twice now, 3 times now. We didn't mention the Christmas at all last time, did we? But we've
no, I think it's close. Times. I think it's close enough now, Paul.
It is, yeah. So it is Kelly with this corner in. It comes near post, poor corner, and Q heads the ball out. Kelly retrieves it on his left foot, puts a ball in high there. Could be an offside here. Holman's in the centre, but he can't get the ball. Down goes the number 5 Webb, and that's going to be a free kick in the penalty area to Hitchin. He's staying down. The goalkeeper looks uninterested on taking this quickly. Kettering fans offering advice to Webb to get up, and eventually he does, and it's going to be Michael Johnson to take this. Rather a natty purple outfit he's wearing, sequined down the arms, I think, Gary, and a flashing
that's strictly piece. Not true.
Oh, very good, very good. Still hasn't taken this goal kick or this free kick yet. He has now. It's gone towards Forday, but Luke Graham wins that rather well to Cunnington. Cunnington fouled by Dan Webb. Sorry, it was Jay Dowie, not Dan Webb, and it's just near the halfway line as the pitch cuts up even further. But after the game, we can put some taters in this.
Yeah, it's not a game for the purists, is it? On a pitch like this, it's definitely turning, into a mud bath in several spots now. But it's one of those games, though, where Kettering players have just got to win their personal battles today, and if they can do that, then they've got the quality to be able to win this game.
Paul White takes it towards Cunnington. Cunnington gets the ball to Meikle. Meikle might try a shot, does, fires one. Oh my word! From Lyndon Meikle. Well, he's won the goal of the month for October and November. I'm declaring he's won it for December. What a fantastic goal that was.
Well, just on cue, talking about the quality, there was the quality of Lyndon Meikle's right boot. A good 25 yards out. He let strike And wow, top corner, right top corner. And Michael Johnson, well, sprinter or not sprinter, he had no chance with that. A fantastic goal. 1-0 Kettering Town.
28 minutes gone here at Latimer Park then. It is Kettering Town 1, one of the best goals you'll ever see if we actually get it on our highlights. Cameron says he has it perfectly, so you'll be able to see that in a few days' time. Kettering Town 1, Hitchin Town 0, and it's worth waiting for when you see the goal as Hitchin get the ball towards Salkin, who powers it out to Kelly, who flicks it. Cunnington's going to win this one. He puts the ball back towards Kelly Evans, who's in the rather swampish area of the ground. He finds Cunnington. Cunnington chests it down, but it's won by Chesmain, who intercepts it. Comes off Richards. Nearly knocks Mike Capps over, who's taking photographs. And it's a throw-in to Hitchin. I still can't get over that goal. That was a tremendous effort. Chesmain then. He finds Galliford, but it's a throw-in. Chesmain going to take it. He finds Perrell. Perrell squares the ball to Jay Dowie, to Green. Green. He finds Alpha Q on the far side. Q comes inside now. Might try his own thunderbolt from here. Does one. Releases one. And it comes off Salkin's fetlock and goes for a corner. Rather fortunately for Hitchin.
Yeah, all about the attention now for Kettering, though, defended at the back. Marvellous strike from Meikle to get our nose in front. We do not want to give away that advantage now with a set piece.
Well, the corner about to be taken. Kettering been susceptible from set pieces in recent weeks. The referee is having to calm down. A little melee in the by the penalty spot, and to calm down. But as we say, Kettering need to concentrate on set pieces. It's been their downfall in recent weeks, and it would be a shame to concede a goal after a fantastic strike like that. Paul White on his goal line. Nobody at the back post. Corner about to take in because it's a short corner to Michael Kane. Kane puts left footed in. Cannons off Cunnington, but it comes back in towards. And another corner, I think, there. It's a bit scrappy from Kettering there. It cannoned off Cunnington, straight to the number 4, Dowie, who fired one back in. It came again off a Kettering player and has gone for another corner.
Two shortest corners, though, and not picking up on them quickly enough, Kettering. I think this one coming in on the far side again now.
So Dowie might put a long one in. That's the first long corner in. It comes in here, headed on by Salkin to Meikle, but it's going to be Forday who capitalises on this. He does. He gets the ball back to Q through Meikle's legs into the penalty area. Hit out only towards Bickerstaff. Bickerstaff pumps the ball in, going towards Webb, and Webb can't keep it in, and it goes out for a goal kick. Sun has disappeared now behind the clouds. Lights are on. And it's 1-0 to the Mighty Poppers if you've just tuned in. Goal scored on 27 minutes. A wonder strike by Lyndon Meikle. And I think in the conditions it's going to be those sort of goals that are going to have to be the marker of the game to improve it.
Individual bits of excellence when you get the opportunity.
Luke Graham hooks the ball into the Hitchin half, but it's back with Richards. Richards pumps the ball forward towards Honus, but Honus can't get there. Headed out by Green. Back in by Meikle, only towards Webb. Webb only puts the ball to Storer. Very, very scrappy towards Honus, who was pushed in the back. Referee says no, he wasn't. And it's back with Webb. Webb, long ball for Forday to chase, but Paul White should see this early. He does. He comes out to the edge of the penalty area and collects the ball. Forday just runs back, and he's the only player of Hitchin in Kettering's half at the moment. Paul White high towards Kelly Evans, won by Q. He finds Forday, but robbed by Salkin, who then loses the ball, and Mickey Mouse conditions. It cannons off to Honus. Honus, a little back flick to Meikle on the far side. Back to Honus, being challenged by Dowie. But Meikle gets the ball back from Honus. Has to play it aimlessly towards Webb, who just heads the ball out to Galliford. Now Galliford flicks the ball through to Kane. Kane gives it straight away, though, to Richens sprays the ball wide here for Holman. Now Holman with a bit of space on the grassy area of Latimer Park. Yes, there is one. He puts one in towards Cunnington. Cunnington dives, misses it. Honus comes in, puts the ball through and cannons off the goalkeeper, and the goal seemed certain. They just couldn't keep it under control. Johnson did well, and it's gone for a corner.
Yeah, Johnson got off his blocks quickly then to deny Rhys Honus.
Just ran away from Honus at the critical time as he couldn't get his foot into the area to put the goalie under pressure. But it is Kelly with this corner towards Cunnington, and it's been given a foul on Webb when it looked like that Cunnington or Solcombe are going to get the foot on the ball. Referee has calmed it down. He's having a word with Cunnington. He doesn't seem too impressed with the decision. But like to see Cunnington get a goal. He's certainly put himself about a bit.
Yeah, he had a good chance there. The ball, the original cross that came in from Dan Holman. I thought he was going to get his head on that one. Just missed it. Ran out to Rhys Honus, who had the second bite of the cherry.
So Johnson with the free kick towards Q. Q wins the ball to Forday. He's challenged by Graham, but he beats Graham, and the referee deems that a foul. Richens says no, it's not, but he may as well ignore that. The referee says, I'm the boss. It is a free kick, and
it's a hand on the shoulder job, that was.
It was. It's midway in Kettering's half on the left-hand side towards the dugouts. It's going to be Galliford with this, left-footed, one-man wall of Dan Holman. Just Rhys Honus in Kettering's half. Galliford comes in here, puts the ball in high. Paul White comes out, punches both fists, and Richards gets the ball away. It's going to be a chase for Kelly and Green. Green gets there, and it's Dowie that gets there. He pumps the ball forward. A good ball from Dowie, though. It's on the far side, the Hitchin player, the number 7, and it's been put out for throw-in. Q's over there to take it. Doesn't take it quickly. No movement for the Hitchin players. And still nothing happening. It's all been slowed down now as Jack Green collects the ball. It's by the small little stand on the far side as Stewart with a Santa Claus hat goes walking around there. Still hasn't been taken. It has now towards Kane. High ball in. Paul White has to be careful here. And that hit the side netting. Paul White not under threat, but you never know with these type of deliveries what can happen there.
No, I was very relaxed about that one. I'm sure Paul White was as well. But how long we got, Paul, for half-time cup of tea?
8 minutes or so of this first half. Kettering leading 1-0. Goal scored on 27 minutes by Lyndon Meikle. What a beauty it was as Paul White gets a low trajectory goal kick out, flicked on by Storer. But it's found Meikle, who pumps the ball forward towards Dowie. Dowie gets the ball back to Q. Q trying to find Galliford, intercepted by Graham. Trying to find Cunnington, but Cunnington now on a chase here. He's going to keep the ball in. It slows down in the mud. Cunnington puts the ball through towards Honus, but it's flicked back towards Kelly. Kelly comes aside. It's chested down by Honus, rather unluckily for Kettering. Put the ball to Cunnington. Cunnington takes one touch, takes another touch, plays the ball wide for Kelly, who's remained by the corner flag. Comes inside, left foot, he puts it in, but cleared, slipped by the Hitchin player. Holman intercepts, puts in, flicked on, and headed over by Honus from Holman's pass. Rather unfortunately goes down, and there's a Hitchin player down now in the penalty area to the boos of the Kettering fans. So there we are, it's at 1-0. Pitch cutting up rather badly, but you'd expect that with the amount of rain that we've had. This game wouldn't have taken place a few years ago, so well done to the ground staff and the drainage that's been put in. And quite a pleasant afternoon for December. It's the first year I can remember for quite a few years where we haven't had a game cancelled prior to Christmas. Last year we had one and it was cancelled because of fog. So although when kick-off was announced the fog had cleared, but at the time
the way.
By the time it was cancelled it was too foggy for Weymouth to travel. Player is still down, receiving treatment.
Yeah, it's Lewis Peril in peril of coming off.
You're getting the hang of this, you know. So there we are. We got a raffle draw after the game in the clubhouse. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. We need 1,000 of you. We've got 896 at the moment. It doesn't cost anything, and we can get a bit of money earned for the club if we get that 1,000. So this goal kick now being taken. Richards underneath it, pumps it forward to Honus to chase. Honus has been sandwiched between two of them, but out comes Michael Johnson once again to retrieve the ball. Johnson with the goal kick towards Q. Richards wins it. He hits it on to Kelly, but the number 4 Dowie plays the ball back to Johnson. Johnson quite active at the moment, seeing quite a lot of the ball as the goalkeeper. Slips as he delivers that ball towards Q. Richards doesn't win this one. Solkin does. Now, I'm not going to get my head on that one, as it just goes over the gantry. And it's a little snigger there from Ed Palmer, who's desperate to get his hands on the ball and hasn't done so. I won't rub it in too much. Ball back in play with Chesmain. Chesmain towards Forday. Forday chests it down, but only to Kelly Evans, who gives the ball straight away to Q. Q pumps the ball back to Chesmain. Chesmain down on this byline, being tackled by Kelly, but in doing so puts the ball out. And then he kicks the ball away rather stupidly. And the referee had a quick word with him there. I've seen people get booked for that, but it is a throw-in to Kettering. Paul White having to retrieve the ball. Kelly Evans now has the ball for the throw-in. Back in towards Cunnington. Cunnington flicks the ball on, and Honus gets through. Square ball towards Kelly. It goes the wrong side of Kelly. And it is Kane who gets the ball back to Johnson. And Johnson comes out of his penalty area to deliver this kick. He does. Heads towards Forday, but Solkin wins that one. Meikle there being fouled. Nothing given, though. It's been kicked into the Hitchin half. Underneath it is Perol. Only gives it to Meikle, who slips but retrieves the ball, has to go back. Pumps the ball through, but out comes Jack Green, who robs it off Storer and pumps the ball through. There's Solkin there. Paul White comes out. Solkin gets the ball. The number 9 slips, and Solkin puts the ball out. No nonsense from Brett Solkin. Throwing on the far side. 1-0 to the Poppies. You listen to Poppies TV audio. Full highlights and interviews will be shown later in the week. The goal is worth watching, that is for certain. And Meikle, a speciality at the long-range wonder goal this season. And what a goal it was, as Gallagher gets the ball to Green, flicked in, headed out by Solkin, but only to Chesmain in the centre of the park. Chesmain takes a touch, being challenged by Kelly. Sprays the ball out wide to Q. Q. He's got Kelly Evans at his feet. Finds Chesmain. A good 1-2 though from Hitchin. Good movement from the Canaries. Coming down by the byline. This could be dangerous for Kettering. Takes a turn, slips. Still retrains the ball. Slips again. Very difficult conditions, but Q does exceptionally well keeping this ball in. Comes off Kelly Evans and a throw in. But good work there by Hitchin. They're trying to play football on this difficult surface, that is for sure.
Yeah, they certainly look dangerous down this left-hand side. I've been quite impressed with the left-back Chesman and Alfie Q as well, further forward, and they've linked up pretty well and caused us a bit of bother on the right.
So Forday, it's Gallagher in fact, he gets the ball to Chesmain. Chesmain has been lost the ball. He gives it back to Dowie. Squares the ball. A chance here for Gallagher. Comes in shot and well cut out by Brett Solkin. I thought Gallagher was going to sneak through there. Stourbridge gone 3-0 up. It's a romp over at the War Memorial ground in Stourbridge 3, Barwell 0. It's Kettering Town 1, Hitchin Town 0, but Hitchin do have a corner. Great work there from Brett Solkin, denying Gallagher is going to take this corner. He was inside the 6-yard box. In comes the corner now. Paul White on his line, headed out by Cunnington towards Meikle. Meikle though only gets the ball towards Storer, who with a sand wedge knocks the ball out for...
That was a shank.
A shank was it, sorry.
Yep.
It's a throw on the far side. Green's got the ball, flicks it over Storer, but Storer battles, wins well. And so does Meikle. It is Storer plays the ball to Kelly. Kelly just hoofs the ball out into the Kettering half. It only finds the number 6 Peril. But got a bit scrappy again here. It's all head tennis at the moment. That's the 7th header in a row. 8th charged down by Bickerstaff. Another header and a foul to Hitchin. Kettering can't believe it. It's midway in the Kettering half. On the far side, the referee has got 3 Hitchin players around him, telling Kettering to get their wall back. I say wall, it's the Meikle and Kelly look very similar at this distance, both with blonde hair, short, around the same side. It's now 1-man wall and it's Kelly. So just before half time, it's a chance here for the Canaries to get back into this game. Referee had a quick word there with Kelly. Looks more than 10 yards to me, but there we have it. Free kick to be taken by Chesmain on the far side. In it comes now, and there's a foul, and be a free kick to Kettering. Danger averted.
Yes, Hitchin disputed the referee's call there of that it was their player pushing in the box, but the referee sticking to his guns, obviously. And Kettering are just looking to see out the last minute or so of this half. We haven't seen any board up yet, but Malcolm, I can see downstairs, is getting it ready. But I'd expect 1 or 2 minutes with a couple of stoppages for injuries.
Paul White then gets the game back underway towards Cunnington. It misses Cunnington, headed back towards Storer. Storer can't find Kelly. It's headed back to Forday, to Chesmain. He can't do much with it. Galliford now flicks the ball on towards Q on this left-hand side. Overlapped by Chesmain, but Q comes inside, puts the ball square, but he puts it too square. Galliford can't get on there, and away comes Gary Storer. He's got Rhys Hones on his left-hand side. Cunnington in the middle. He gives it to Honus. Honus comes inside, still running with the ball. He's got Kelly Evans here on the right-hand side, which he uses. Ball comes in towards Cunnington, but headed out only towards Richards. Richards traps it, does well, flicks the ball through to Storer. Can Storer keep this in? It's round by the corner flag. He's kept it in play. Well done, Gary Storer. In comes the ball. It comes off the Hitchin player, deflection, and it's left to Richards. Might try a shot, does. And Richards! Oh! My word! Whatever you can do, Meikle, I can do better, says Michael Richards. 2-0 as we go into the 46th minute. 2 stunning goals.
Well, I didn't think we'd see a better strike today. Well, probably certainly for the rest of the season up here today, Paul. But Michael Richards saying anything you can do, I could do better. That was probably even 2 or 3 yards further out. And something about that top right-hand corner, because it went like an arrow straight there. And again, Michael Johnson, absolutely no chance.
Well, 2 of the best goals that you will see. I did say that Meikle would win goal of the month in December. It's going to be an interesting one now with that one, because that was an absolute scorcher. Well, those fans that aren't here are going to have some highlights to watch with these goals, because truly stunning as Hitchin get the ball back into play as Holman gets it to Richards. Richards flicks the ball through towards Cunnington. Honus going to chase this. Honus does well, he wins it. He's got Kelly on the far side, if you can see him. He goes inside the penalty area. There's Honus still with the ball. Left foot, right foot, gives it to Holman. Hitching back now in numbers. And Holman's cross quite poor as Cunnington's gone down, holding his face. And there goes the half-time whistle. But Cunnington is still down. We'll keep going while Cunnington receives treatment. Sports therapist Rachel runs over as the goalkeeper Johnson offers him a hand.
He's okay.
Kettering getting a warm round of applause from the home fans, and rightly so. 2 stunning goals in very difficult conditions. Cunnington back on his feet, and that's going to be it for the moment. It's Kettering Town 2, Hitchin Town 0. We'll be back with you in around 10 to 15 minutes time. We're going to go off air now and see you in the second half. Well, the teams are coming back out onto the pitch here. If you've just joined us, it is Kettering Town 2, Hitchin Town 0, and two of the most spectacular goals you will see all season, which we'll see on our highlights package later in the week. And my goodness, they are good goals indeed. Hitchin Town just coming out now. Michael Richards having a quick grin, as he's one of the goal scorers. But a wonderful goal it was as well. Well, Boxing Day is the next game. That is at Bedworth United. That is a 1 o'clock kickoff. So make sure that if you are going to that game, you make a note of the time. 1 o'clock at the Oval, Bedworth United. And the final game of 2018 is the feisty affair at the Walks, Kings Lynn Town. And then January the 1st is the first game of 2019, obviously. It's against AFC Rouge and Diamonds. More about that later in the week or next week. There are metal notices and directions for that game. But waiting for the referee, who's now out. We're having a quick word with Richard Lavery, or other way around. And it's certainly dropping a few degrees. Both teams making their way out, having final preparations of the interim half-time period. Referee jogging up and down. Malcolm Lou having a quick word with him. If we see 2 more goals like that in the second half, I'll be a Dutchman, Paul van der Koek. But they were fantastic goals. I can't say how great they were, but you'll see those on our highlights package later in the week. Referee now counting the players as they do, making sure there's 13 aside on. Everybody's getting ready. The fans have swapped sides. Tin Hat now has all the Poppies fans in there. It's going to be Kettering to kick off this second half. They are now kicking from right to left towards the Tin Hat. And let's hope we see some more wonderful strikes. As it is Richards over the ball. Referee signals we're ready. Whistle goes. Ball back with Sulkin. Sulkin spreads the ball towards Cunnington. Wins that one, but it goes straight to Chesbane on the far side. He finds Q, who's switched over here. That's Galliford. Galliford, left-footed, gives the ball to Dowie. Dowie back to Galliford. Galliford flicks the ball through to Forday. Forday gives the ball, though, to Marcus Kelly. And Kelly finds Cunnington on the halfway line. Cunnington squares the ball, but it's cut out. Doesn't reach Holman. And the ball back with Green. Green feeds it, but he gives it straight away to Storer. Heavy touch from Storer, but he does control it. Still, Storer takes one touch, takes another touch, has to play the ball back towards Honus. Honus flicks the ball through to Kelly. Honus continues with his run. He's inside the penalty area now. It's a good start here for Kettering. Here comes Honus. He's down there, and it is a goal kick. Honus went down just on the 6-yard box, but it ran out for a goal kick. Johnson takes it quickly, finds Chesmain on the far side. Chesmain still with the ball, trying to find Galliford, won by Luke Graham. He finds Kelly. Kelly muscled off the ball though. Back to Kane. Chesmain flicks the ball through, but Graham heads it to Holman. Holman, a little nice cheeky little flick there to Kelly. Kelly flicks the ball up now. It's a chase here for Honus, but won by Webb, who heads the ball back into the arms of Johnson, who bowls the ball out for Kelly to Green, sorry, to move. He's found Forday, but robbed by Storer. Storer pumps the ball through towards Cunnington. Cunnington chests it down towards Kelly. Kelly retrieves it, gets it back to Honus. Honus puts the ball back to Storer. Storer trying to find Cunnington, who might be offside. He's not, but he does win the ball, and it is in fact offside. Cunnington can't believe it, but it is a free kick to Hitchin. Marcus Law throws his banana skin in the receptacle down here on our left-hand side. Was that tea I see before me? Was a cup of tea there from Gary Foreman.
Nima half-time, cup of ball.
Righty-ho, so it is Chesmain on the far side by the halfway line, pumping the ball forward, cut out by Kelly Evans towards Cunnington, who traps it rather heavily, but gives it the ball to Meikle. Meikle gives the ball away, though. It is Webb. Finds Chesmain on the far side. He pumps the ball back to Perrell. Perrell moves it squarely to Green. He's got Q alongside him. Here's Q, Alfie Q. He's into Kettering half. Still sprinting down there. He's got Storer in front of him. He's going one way. He's going the other. It's rather tricky, is this Q. Tip of the Q as he gets down the byline and then...
right on Q.
Right on Q.
He falls over.
Falls over and gives it away. So there we are. A bit more chalk needed on that, I think, to make it more efficient. Paul White then with this goal kick. There's a few Hitchin fans behind the goal mouth there with their flags. The Canaries, Hitchin Town. Paul White back into play with this. Towards Cunnington. Cunnington wins the header towards Honus, who does well, but it's cut out by Perrell. He finds Dowie. It's a long chase here for Forday. Salkin, though, no nonsense, just plays the ball out for a throw-in. It's in Kettering's half by the right-hand side, not too far from the corner flag. It is Jack Green with a throw-in. He's not taken it yet. There's a bit of movement for him. Green has the ball back. Yeah, little flick there. Green puts the low ball in towards the back post. It's too heavy, and Holman does well, heads the ball away, and that's gone for a throw-in right by the corner flag. Good work from Holman.
Yeah, Dan Holman working well defensively there. We'd like to see him at the other end of the pitch, but every Kettering player's got a job to do defending as well today.
Hitchin with the ball on the far side, cleared by Graham, who slips and gives the ball away. It's flicked over on the right-hand side here to Jack Green. He pumps it forward towards Q. Q might try a speculative shot. He does. Cannons off Kelly, but Q gets the ball back again. Flicks the ball through. It's headed on to Q again, who's into this, fires a shot in. And that goes wide of Paul White, but given a lot of room there, Q. He couldn't get the ball away off him. And certainly their main danger man in this game. I was looking at Isaac Galliford as the man going to be the problematic player. And what does that, Ed?
He's been a non-factor so far, anyway. John
yes,
Dunham's
non-factor
tip.
at the moment. John Dunham's tip, and it is goal kick to Paul White. Back into play towards Cunnington. Flick on by Cunnington towards Honus, but it's cut out by Green. He flicks it to Richens. Richens to Meikle. Meikle, very good work there for Meikle. Pumps the ball forward, but out comes Michael Johnson to avert the danger. Collects it on the penalty spot. Kicks the ball out towards Q. Storer's underneath this one. Storer wins it towards Kelly. Kelly on his thigh. Under pressure, plays the ball back to Storer. Storer takes one touch, then another. Puts the ball through to Honus. Honus flicks it, but it's cut out by Dowie. And flicked on towards Forday, who gives the ball away to Salkin. And the ball is back with Paul White. Paul White rolls the ball in front of him. Takes it towards Holman. Holman heads the ball high, but it's not directed well. It finds Bickerstaff. He gives the ball to Chesmain, who has to play the ball back under pressure by Cunnington to goalkeeper Robinson. It's in fact Johnson. I don't know where Robinson's come from. Has he sneaked into the team somewhere? But no. Gary Storer cuts this ball out, pumps the ball forward to Honus. Little cheeky flick there, but Green wins it. Green trying to get Q away under pressure from Michael Richens, who slides and puts the ball out. Very determined there was Michael Richens. A throw in to the Canaries in front of the Kettering Town dugout, taken by Jack Green. He finds Dowie. And real poor ball there from Dowie. Nobody moved. Forday can't believe what's just happened. The ball harmlessly rolls out for a goal kick. Paul White just nonchalantly trots over to collect it. But not much there for Hitchin, was there?
No, miscommunication, I think. I think Dowie played the ball forward quickly, expecting one of the forwards to be running down a channel for it. But they had other ideas, I think. And Yeah, wasteful. But
Paul White then gets it back underway towards Cunnington. Cunnington flicks the ball on, but it is back to Peril. But Holman finds Meikle, and the ball bounces up, hits him on the hand rather unluckily for Meikle, and it's a free kick, handball. Wouldn't have thought on this surface it would bounce the ball, but it did. Away goes Peril. He falls over though, and robbed by Honus. Now Honus has got a break on here. He's got Kelly with him, but he's intercepted. The ball's back with Richens. Richens, he's not going to try a wonder strike, is he? He's not. Plays the ball wide for Honus to collect. He does by the corner flag. He's got Storer with him, flicks the ball through to Storer. Storer comes inside the penalty area now. Storer goes one way, trying to go the other, flicks the ball through towards Cunnington. Doesn't get there. Meikle was thinking about another long range shot. Doesn't. Still Meikle with the ball in the penalty area. Flicks the ball left-footed over. And the come shot cross harmlessly goes by Johnson for a goal kick.
Yeah, the whole Kettering move there started with a tackle on Dowie by the pitch. Robbed the ball, got stuck in the mud, and Rhys Honus says thank you very much, and able to have a run at the Hitchin defence, but alas, that one came to nothing, and Hitchin now on the attack.
It's a big stuff trying to release Galliford. He puts the ball through. Solken clears it, but it goes straight back to Bickerstaff, putting a ball into the vacant number 11 at the back there. Q headed out by Storer, well intercepted, trying to find Kelly, but it's Hitchin on the ball outside the penalty area. It is Kane who falls down. They're saying dive, but it's a free kick to Hitchin. Kane went down rather in Greg Lagarnus like style.
Yep. But Michael Caine, his name. A bit of an actor, I think.
Not a lot of people know that, Gary.
No.
So it's going to be Galliford to take this. It is by the byline, midway in Kettering's half, the right-hand side. One-man wall of Rhys Honus. Ball comes in, left-footed, headed on and out. Q gets the ball, robbed by Meikle. Meikle again and Kelly between them, try to get it, but Q wins it back, gets it to Galliford. Galliford steps inside the penalty area, puts it left-footed in. It's cleared out by Kettering, it's a bit scrappy. On the edge of the area here by Bickerstaff. Now it's Chesmain puts the ball in high, and it's a header straight at Paul White. Rather scrappy play there from both sides. It was really huff and puff as the ball finally found Paul White, who's taken a bit of time in releasing the ball, getting play back in order. 2-0 here to Kettering Town. Goal scored by Lyndon Meikle and Michael Richens, as Cunnington adjudged to have fouled the number 8, and Richens is being asked to come over.
Now, I think it'll be the last warning for Mr. Cunningham before he gets a Christmas card off the referee.
Well, it's the number 8 who's down, Bickerstaff. He's still down. Cunnington's taking his telling off by the linesman alongside Michael Richens. There's hardly a... It's a bit ironic, really, isn't it? Richens being there, listen to the telling off by the linesman. It's usually him that has the telling off.
He'll understand the language, won't he, Michael?
He will,
Richens?
yeah. Don't do it again, otherwise you'll be booked. So it's a free kick just inside the Hitchin half. Everybody bar the goalkeeper and the free kick taker in Kettering's half. Hasn't been taken yet. Referee blown his whistle. He can take it now. It's Chesmain with this free kick. Solker's underneath it, heads it out. That should be a chase for Honus. He wins it, gets the ball back to Storer, and Kettering now have a chance to break away on a counter-attack. Storer, though, runs into trouble and loses the ball. The ball back with Galliford, but he's robbed by Storer. Storer to Meikle, and a bit of a battle here between Meikle. Meikle wins it. Puts the ball through for Honus, though. Green's there, and it goes out of play. Green takes the throw in quickly. But good work there from Honus, who certainly has had a large contribution in this game so far. The ball's on the far side with Chesmain. He comes inside. He puts the ball to Webb, and that's just hooked by the Berger van for a throw-in to Kettering.
The first half wasn't a classic game of football, but if anything, this second half has been even scrappier.
Yeah, conditions aren't helping with the pitch, etc. No. It's not, as we said, a game for the purists. Two wonderful strikes from Kettering that have really been the inspiration of this game so far. And hopefully we might see a few more of those. And back to winning ways. Throw in for Kettering as Cuddington there is fouled and has been given the other way. A referee, appalling decision there by the referee. We usually get one appalling decision per game. Well, that's this one. And it's Hitchin with the ball towards Galliford in Kettering's half. He can't control it. He's under pressure from Storer. Storer shepherding the ball to go out, and it does go out. And Storer is injured in the process with Galliford. He's rolling around. It should be a throw into Kettering. Referee dancing over rather like Darcy Bustle.
Bustled over.
Bustled over as Storer hobbles up. And I think he's going to be okay. He's limping around a bit. But,
yeah, it's tough nut, Gary is.
Yep, he's okay. In fact, he's going to take the throw in himself. Still hasn't been taken. He's wiping the ball with his shirt to try and get some purchase on it. In comes the throw in towards Cuddington. It's being held back. But Green wins it for Hitchin towards Galliford. Intercepted by Storer. Rushins plays the ball. It cannons off Cuddington, though, unfortunately. And Meikle has to retrieve the ball under pressure. He does. He's found Honus. And the number 5 kicks the ball away. It's a foul on Honus. And the sportsmanship from Hitchin once again leaves a little bit to be desired of kicking the ball away. Referee hasn't booked him for that. That's 2 Hitchin players that have kicked the ball away, and there's been no reprisal.
Poor old Adam Cuddington, though. He's not getting the referee's decisions at the moment when he gets fouled, and then one of his Kettering colleagues boots the ball at him at great velocity from a short distance. So just one of those afternoons at the moment for Adam, but hopefully he'll come good.
Paul White with the free kick towards Salkin. Salkin heads the ball towards Cuddington, but it's cut out by Dowie. Dowie hooks the ball towards Q. He comes off him, though, and rather fortunately goes towards Storer, who just hooks it towards Holman. Holman traps it, does well, beats 2. Lovely bit of skill there from Holman. Trying to find Honus. He does. Traps it well. Puts the ball back to Meikle. Meikle feeding through Kelly. Kelly on the edge of the penalty area. Puts the ball through, and Green intercepts when Honus was trying to get onto it. Away come Hitchin. Q with the ball. Intercepted by 2 Kettering players, like terriers Kettering are, getting this ball back off Hitchin. Storer. Wide ball towards Cunningham. Cunningham heads the ball down to Holman. Holman flicks it up. Wants a handball, nothing given. Away come Hitchin. It is Q on the halfway line. Flicks the ball through to Galliford, but Salkin's there, going to let that one go out. He does. And that is a throw-in to Kettering. No substitutions yet from either side. It's still Kettering Town 2, Hitchin 0. You'll listen to Poppy's TV audio with Gary Foreman and myself, Paul Cook. It is Gary Storer with the throw-in, being told to wait. Referee having a word with Cuddington, and the number 4, Dowie. He just had a little chat there with the number 4 and Cuddington about football. Cuddington will be careful here. He's been spoken to a few times by the referee, and he's fouled there by the number 4. And Cuddington's certainly taking some stick. Right in front of us so we can see everything that was going on there and hear everything.
Yeah, very interested hearing the referee talking to them. But yeah, Adam Cuddington gets a decision going his way.
Which has been rare, isn't it?
Well, I think it's the first one today, actually, Paul.
Gary Storer then with the free kick just in the Kettering half. Flights it towards Cuddington, sorry. He heads the ball up high, only towards Bickerstaff. He gets the ball to Galliford. Galliford finding Chesmain on the far side. Flicks the ball through to Kane. Kane gets the ball through. Good work here. And here comes Galliford. Shoots in. Good block by Paul White. Forder gets the ball to Q. Q stumbles. Kettering get it over. And a shot by Dowie goes away. But a very good block by Paul White as Galliford was through on goal. That looked like it could be going in, getting one back. But Paul White did exceptionally well. And the resulting melee from that was a shot blazed over the bar. And it's going to be Hitchin making the first substitution. Matt Nullen is coming on. And Alfie Q is coming off. Q has been quite a player for them. I was quite surprised.
I was very surprised to see Q come on. He's certainly clearly disappointed to come off. He's not injured, but yeah, Kettering were carved open there for the first time this afternoon, and as you say, smart save from Paul White. That could have easily been 2-1 from Galliford, but Kettering dodged that particular bullet. But they'll be looking to tighten up and not allow Hitchin another sniff.
Paul White waiting to take this goal kick on his right-hand side. Still hasn't taken it. Referee now blows the whistle. Paul White addresses the ball. Trying to find Honus. Honus wins the header. It goes high. Green's underneath it. Back to the substitute. Gets his first touch of the ball. Feeds it through to Galliford on the far side. It was Nullen, that was, the substitute, getting his first touch. It's still with Hitchin. Cut out by Richards. But it's back with Chesmain on the far side. There's Dowie. Back to Chesmain. Ball comes in high. And Paul White comes out and goes down on his 6-yard box. Collects the ball. Wipes the mud off his knees and slows the game down. Forday trying to hurry Paul White along, but he's having none of it. White delivers the ball towards Cunnington, has been under the walls, flicks the ball on, but no Kettering player can take advantage. It's back with Storer. Storer heads it, but this should be a Jack Green wins this. He does, and a good work here from Green. He's marching through. He leaves the ball behind him, though, but he retrieves it. Does a pirouette, gets the ball to Galliford. Galliford back to Dowie, back to Webb. Webb loses the ball, falls over, and Honus capitalises on that mistake. Feeds the ball through to Holman. Holman now with a bit of space to run at. Feeds the ball through to Kelly. Kelly leaves it for Cunnington. Cunnington feeds through Holman. Holman can't get a shot in. Does! Oh, yes! What a good move! And what a good goal from Dan Holman.
Lovely finish from Dan Holman there. Bottom left-hand corner this time. Good move for Kettering. And a second Kettering move that was started by a wonderful tackle by the pitch. Got stuck in the mud. Hitchin player fell over. Kettering capitalised, went forward. Dan Holman, 3-0.
It was another wonderful finish, not in the same calibre as the two strikes, but the move itself was very, very good to watch on a very difficult surface. Pinpoint precision and a delightful finish from the man in form, Dan Holman. 9th goal for Kettering since he's been here in 13 games.
That's an impressive form, I have to say. But yeah, just as when Hitchin was starting a little bit of forward momentum, that's killed it.
Well, it was 4-1 last season here. It's 3-0 at the moment with at least another 25 minutes to go or so as Nullen gets the ball back to the centre-back, number 5, Webb. He sprays it on the far side to Dowie. He finds Peril. Peril gives the ball to Chesmain, but he has to come back into play. Wide ball cut out by Meikle to Honus. Honus now going to run at Green. Here's Honus over the halfway line. Goes inside Green. Check back. Plays it square towards Kelly Evans on the far side. Kelly Evans has got Holman in front of him. Doesn't use him. Does now. Holman flicks the ball through towards Kelly. Kelly puts the ball through towards Honus, but they can't get there. Cleared by Galliford. And Hitchin break down Kettering's play. Push the ball forward to Forday. Under pressure from Storer. But Kane trying to get Nullen underway on the far side. He's still got the ball, Nullen. Tall, powerful player. The floodlights ricocheting off his head. And it's pumped in no for Hitchin. Kelly wins this one. Chests it down towards Honus. Honus puts the ball back towards Meikle. Meikle with plenty of space to run at this one. Puts the ball through towards Storer. Storer on the left-hand side. Comes inside. Might try a shot. Doesn't. Flicks it forth towards Cunnington. Cunnington gets the ball. Does well. And is adjudged to have fouled. Unbelievably. Said he's pulling a shirt, the referee is indicating here. But he was on the floor, Cunnington, with a tackle. You're having a laugh, referee. And it looks like Cunnington is going to go into the referees. And he is. Cunnington, for all his woes, etc., goes into the referee's book. The referee's been wanting to do that for quite a while, I think, really. And the Kettering fans giving the referee some gentle advice as well.
And he calls that accumulation. And to be fair, he was warned earlier with Michael Hitchin. But, yeah, frustrating afternoon for Adam Cunnington, it has to be said. But rather be frustrated as a forward when your team's 3-0 down. But we're 3-0 up, so it can't be that bad.
Chesmain then on the far side finds Kane, back to Chesmain, pumping the ball high towards Nullen, the tall, powerful header, but it comes off Stora's chest. He puts the ball through to Honus, but Green wins that back to Nullen. Green on the overlap into the Kettering half, outside the penalty area, plays it right-footed towards Paul White, who just gently takes that one, goes down, and no problem for the Irishman. Marcus Law just offering his opinion on that Cunnington. We can't actually tell you what they're saying, but if you did hear it, you've heard. So it is Stora on the halfway line. He's marching forward. He's got Honus on his left-hand side. He uses Honus. He comes inside, checks. Still with the ball, Honus. The little pirouette to Stora. Stora thought about the little flick, doesn't. Kept it in, and it goes out, and it is Kettering's ball, much to the dismay of the Hitchin management. Ball thrown in by Stora towards Honus in the penalty area, pumps the ball back to Kelly, who has to play it to Stora. Stora back to Kelly, back to Stora, and Stora is then fouled, and that is fouled by Dowie. Now surely Dowie should go into the book, because he's been spoken to by the referee, and that was a blatant foul. And it does look like Kettering are going to make a substitution as well. Ben Milnes is stripped off. Free kick being taken. Honus fell over. Galliford gets the ball through. He finds Nullen. Nullen squares the ball back over to the far side to Kane. Kane squares it to Chesmain on the halfway line. Good movement here from Hitchin, but he loses the ball. And Kelly Evans gets the ball to Meikle. Meikle's got 3 round him, pumps the ball forward to Richens, and he puts a hopeful ball for Richens, who can't get that on this surface. Green takes the quick throw in. So Webb with the ball to Chesmain on the far side. Chesmain coming up to the halfway line. And a tackle goes down there. It's Forday on the far side. The referee now decides to give a free kick once Forday was in a better position to advance Hitchin. Brings the play back, and that's going to allow Kettering, I think, to make their substitution. But it is a free kick. Galliford is over it. And that was quite surprising that that's happened, but it has. It's going to be Richard Lavery shouting out to the defence. Need to concentrate on this. They're 3-0 up. All goals make a difference in the long run. Ball's pumped in towards the back post of Nullen. It comes off his head and goes high over Paul White's goal. He allows that to just cannon off him. And the ball being retrieved by Hitchin fan.
It'll be a double
substitution, yes.
For Kettering in due course. It's not going to be straight away, but Ben Toseland and Ben Milnes are the players that are stripped and ready.
Well, Kettering adapting to the conditions really well, as they did against Lowestoft down here as well. Similar sort of conditions, not so windy as that game, but same result at the moment, 3-0, as Paul White takes this goal kick towards Cunnington. He loses the ball though, but Reese Honus wins it. Comes off the back of the number 6. Goalkeeper has to come out and spoons it into the crowd, to the delight of the Kettering fans.
Here we go.
Ben Toseland is coming on for Marcus Kelly.
And Hitchin also making a sub. Forday has come off the pitch. And it's Scott Belgrave, the number 12, that's coming on for them.
And Kettering are making their second substitution. It's going to be Ben Milnes coming on. Marcus Kelly just coming off.
Dan Holman. It's Dan Holman who's coming off, number 9. Doesn't know it yet. He does now.
So Dan Holman comes off, getting a warm round of applause from the fans. Another good game from Holman, another goal to his name. Certainly made a heck of an impact since he's been involved with Kettering. And 3-0 to Kettering, getting all the congratulations from all the Kettering staff down here, all putting coats on now. It's pretty cool. It's going to be a throw-in eventually to be taken by Gary Storer, left-hand side, halfway in the Hitchin half. Toseland is up there now, going into the penalty area. But it goes to Meikle. Meikle trying to feed Toseland, who gets the ball, but it comes off a Hitchin player for a throw-in. Toseland takes it quickly towards Storer. Storer, right-footed, loses the ball though, and away comes the Hitchin number 7, Kane. And down he goes, a foul by Toseland. Quickly taken, rolling ball, referee brings it back. Belgrave having to get the ball back for Jack Green to take. Michael Kane Green with the free kick high. Paul White should get this. He does. He's under pressure there and collides with
Peril,
but nothing too sinister in that. White gets up and strolls over the ball in his hand. And Aaron O'Connor is getting himself ready to come on, I think, as well. But White gets the ball towards Cunnington, who flicks the ball on. Toseland can't get there. Away comes Green, who's gone through the centre. Flicks the ball through to Nullen, who trying to be offside, but is not. Graham pumps the ball towards Cunnington. Cunnington's beaten to it by Dowie. And Milnes is fouled by the number 10, Galliford. Doesn't like that inside Kettering's half, but it is going to be a free kick. Kettering are going to make their third substitution and final one. It's going to be Aaron O'Connor. Referee wants it taken from the correct place. 3-0 here to Kettering Town. 3 very good goals, 2 spectacular goals. Salkin takes the free kick towards Cunnington. Cunnington chests the ball down towards Meikle. Meikle runs onto it. He's got Toseland on his left-hand side. Comes inside, plays the ball in towards the back post. In comes the Hitchin player, but it goes out for a Hitchin goal kick. Just when Honus was trying to latch onto it. But another good movement there from Kettering. Johnson takes a poor goal kick, but somehow it arrives at Kane. Flicked on towards Galliford. Galliford with a bit of space. He's turned. Salkin might try a shot, puts the ball through. Should be offside. The number 12, Belgrave, puts the ball in. Paul White comes out. It's loose and cleared by Kelly Evans. And that was definitely a chance there for Hitchin. Paul White goes down. He's... I think he's okay. He's holding his head a little bit, but it's Hitchin on the far side, still with the ball. That was probably the best chance for Hitchin Town all game on that one, Gary.
Yeah, if not the shot from Galliford earlier, that was the second best chance. The ball flashed across the 6-yard box. Paul White got his hands on it to palm it out, and fortunately for Kettering, it was Kelly Evans, the nearest player, to clear the ball just outside the 6-yard box there. But Kettering making their third sub. Aaron O'Connor is coming on, and Adam Cunnington, who's had a frustrating afternoon, I think it's fair to say.
Taken a lot of stick, hasn't he? From
he has taken a lot of stick from the Hitchin players as well as the referee today. But good shift, full-blooded. You have to say from Adam Cunnington, no Joe on the score sheet today, but he's contributed to the 3-0 scoreline, no doubt about that.
So Cunnington leaves the field, getting a handshake from Marcus Law and Richard Lavery. We go back to the other side where it's going to be a throw-in to the Poppies by the burger van. It's Kelly Evans with it. Referee tells to get on with it. But still Kelly Evans with the ball. He's wiping his hands down his shirt to get some purchase on this. Gives it to Meikle. Meikle puts it back to Kelly Evans, who hoofs the ball out. And that's going to be a throw-in to Hitchin. Again on the far side. Getting rather dark here now. Rather clear though. Luckily we've had no rain. None forecast for a week or so at least. So that can change though.
Tomorrow morning. Forecast tomorrow morning.
Is it?
Yeah, but that hopefully that will be the end of it. So tomorrow afternoon it should be dry for a week, and that's important for this pitch in terms of getting the game on New Year's Day. The big one. It
is a big one indeed. And Kettering away against Bedworth on Boxing Day, and then Kings Lynn on the 29th before that big game on January the 1st. Ball out of play. O'Connor was pushed. The referee saw it. It's a free kick by the Kettering Town Football Club stand on the far side. And the referee having a quick word with... no, who's having a word with? I can't quite see who it is, but he's not gone into the book. Still having a word with him, so it's either a booking or a date. I think we're going for the date, aren't we?
Bickerstaff, I think.
Bickerstaff, is it? Well, he's received a little,
just a little
lecture from the referee, but no booking. Kelly Evans with the free kick, waiting to take it. 10 yards into the Hitchin half on the far side. Whistle goes. Kelly Evans launches the ball in, but it goes straight to Kane. Plays the ball back to Johnson, who has to pump the ball out. Storer gets his head to it, but Nullen's underneath it. And away comes Kane. He's got Belgrave to his right. There's Galliford. Flicks the ball through to Dowie. Back to Galliford. Bumps into Solkin. Solkin to Mills. And away comes Ben Toseland. Toseland, left-footed, gets the ball through to Meikle in the centre of the park. Meikle turns. Still with the ball, Meikle. He's got Toseland on his left-hand side. He's going to use him. Slips and loses the ball. Belgrave to Galliford. Galliford. Nullen's there, but Toseland wins that one somehow. Comes inside. Still Toseland going with the ball here. He's inside the penalty area. Puts the ball through to the Hitchin defender rather than Honus. Might have done better to shoot, but away come Hitchin with Galliford. Finds Kane. Comes off Milnes. Ricochets back to Galliford, rather fortunately, into the Kettering half. Got Belgrave on this right-hand side by the penalty area. He's on the outside of it. He's got Storer in front of him. Comes inside the penalty area. One way, the other. Comes off a shot, and that comes off Storer for a Hitchin corner.
Yeah, a couple of comedy moments there for the viewers with the pitch doing some more tackling. First of all on Lyndon Meikle, which was quite comical, and then a Hitchin player, I think it was Galliford, who had a swipe where he thought the ball should be, and it wasn't because of the mud.
Corner comes in. Paul White collects it easily. Goes down on his 6-yard box. He's had safe hands today as Paul White caught everything and made 2 important blocks. But other than that, he's not had a lot to do. Very difficult conditions for goalkeepers, these sort of pitches. It's going to take a little while for this one to recover. Paul White with the goal kick towards O'Connor. O'Connor fouled, missed by the referee, but it arrives with Richards. Now, Toseland's got some space here on this left-hand side. Honus wants it played in front of him, but it's now given to Honus inside the penalty area. Honus still with the ball, juggling it one way, juggling it the other. He's got Toseland on his left-hand side. Going to cross it, didn't, has now, comes low, and it's cleared by Hitchin, but only to Honus. Honus dribbles inside the penalty area, he's going through, can he get the ball in? Oh, that's a penalty, blatant penalty. He was taken out, you could see that all the way. Well, it gives Kettering a chance to go 4-0 up. It was a lovely move, and Honus weaving his way through. He was slashed down, wasn't he?
Yeah, no complaints about that one from anybody, including the Hitchin players and the Hitchin bench. So that tells you all you need to know. And it's going to be the Kettering Angel, Brett Solkin, looking to add to his tally of Kettering goals this afternoon.
Well, Dan Holtman took the last penalty for Kettering, which was dispatched with ease. Brett Solkin has given the ball. He's Kettering's penalty taker. And can Kettering go 4-0 up? We shall wait and see. He's over the ball. Referee blows the whistle. Tin Hat is there. Solkin steps up, takes it. Sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. 4-0. That's Brett Solkin's 111th goal for the club. And his 12th of the season.
Comfortable dispatch from Brett Solkin there, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way. Penalty burying itself into the bottom left-hand corner of the net, and it's a rather flattering scoreline in some respects, but the moments of quality.
No, it's not.
The moments of quality, the moments of brilliance have all been on Kettering's side. So if you're just looking on the balance of play stats, then you think, how has this one been 4-0? But when you've got the individuals that have got that bit of quality that they can produce something out of nothing, that has been the difference this afternoon. And coupled with that, an all-round good working effort as well.
Well, Ben Mills gets the ball back for the Poppers. It's Ben Toseland in Kettering's half, pumping it forward towards Rhys Honus, who's got Green underneath him. Or behind him, shall I say. He's given the ball to Dowie. Dowie to Nullen. Nullen trying to find Belgrave. Belgrave comes inside, but challenged by Richards. Richards plays the ball back to Paul White. We've just been given the attendance of 650. So that's an exceptional gate this time of the year. So 650 is the attendance.
I think the next one will be a bit higher.
Next one could be a bit higher. There's a tussle there with Richards. He goes down holding his knee, his ankle in fact. Ball with Toseland. Toseland's got O'Connor on his left-hand side, still on his left foot. Still dribbling through. Lovely work there from Toseland. If he can keep the ball in, it's been nudged off it, barged off it, and that should be a throw-in to Hitchin right on the corner flag on our left-hand side. Unfortunate there for Toseland. Hitchin player pinches about 10 yards with this throw-in, as it was right by the corner flag, but there we are. And Galliford heads the ball out. Gary Storer to take the throw-in.
Paul is going down below to get ready in the studios. Michael Richins chancing his arm from long distance, but the ball is blocked and breaks forward to Hitchin. But Michael Richins, beautiful tackling, wins the ball back for Kettering, trying to release Rhys Hurness. And there's another penalty. Another penalty. Rhys Hurness was manhandled down to the floor. And again, it was a fairly obvious decision for the referee to make. I'm not quite sure what. I think it's the big number 5 for Hitchin, who's going to get the card for that. But yes, it is. It's Dan Webb. Rhys Honus was running away from goal, and it was turned into a bit of a grappling match. And Dan Webb was the only player that was going to win that grappling match, but at the expense of a penalty. So, Brett Solkin looking for number 112 this afternoon. Referee making sure Mr. Johnson is on his line, ready to go. Here we go. Oh, that was a closer effort. It's gone in. Kettering have the 5th. But Michael Johnson was a little bit unlucky there. This time he guessed right. Got a hand to it, but just helped the ball into the roof of the net. So the scoreline is increased here this afternoon at Latimer Park, and it's now Kettering Town 5, Hitchin 0. And that's twice now where Mr. Cook has got himself to the top of the ladder. I think he stayed long enough to see that penalty go in. And we're now back underway for the last few minutes of this particular game. Been a decent effort collectively, really, by Kettering Down today in difficult circumstances. I'll have to give a shout out to 2 central defenders who I don't think have played together in the league this season. Should have asked Mr. Cook that before he disappeared, but Luke Graham and Brett Solkin, 2 old sweats, read the game well today, and for the most part have looked very solid. And with the games coming thick and fast now over this festive period, squad size as well as squad quality is going to come to the fore. Ball is around in the mud in the centre of the pitch, goes forward for Hitchin. Brett Solker with his head on it, helped on by Toseland. There's a handball there by the substitute Belgrave, sorry. And Rhys Honess has just been given the Man of the Match award. Seems to have gained universal approval around the ground today. Very good effort from Rhys, live wire that he is. But he's passed the ball well today as well, which you could say has been a criticism sometimes with him. And earned 2 late penalties to boot. Ball's back in play. Mullen flicking the ball forward to Hitchin. It's a bit of head tennis in the middle. Toseland putting himself about and grappling in the middle, and eventually gives the free kick away on the halfway line to Hitchin. He'll send the centre halves forward, trying to eke out a consolation goal as everybody retreats towards the Kettering penalty area. Going to be Green that launches this one forward for Hitchin. It's headed out by Kelly Evans, one of the smallest men on the pitch. But it's still with Hitchin in the Kettering half. Bickerstaff finding Kane. Kane over to the right-hand side. And that was a speculative effort for Hitchin. That goes sailing over the bar from Mr. Galliford. And Kettering will take their time. Paul White will take his time specifically. Three minutes added on has just been conveyed to us. So the ball will be going up shortly. And indeed, here it comes, Malcolm Lewis, holding up the neon sign below us. 3 minutes to see out for Kettering from a very healthy 5-0 scoreline. Hitchin will have a throw-in on the far side in front of the burger van. Ball thrown in towards the number 10. Oh, Paul White misses the cross. And Kettering were fortunate there that the ball fell to Gary Storer, who brings it away. Trying to advance into the Hitchin half, but Green is there to intercept. And the ball is played along the back four of Hitchin, launched forward, but only finds Michael Richins. Richins plays the ball to Ben Milnes, onto Lyndon Meikle, puts the cross in. Headed away by the number 5 for Hitchin, who earns himself a free kick in the process. So the next game we head off to the artificial pitch of Bedworth United. Another potential banana skin, that one, away from home on Boxing Day. And then we head across east to Kings Lynn the following Saturday, before Rushden and Diamonds, AFC Rushden and Diamonds, are in town on New Year's Day for the big one. And hopefully the pitch will have time to recover. And a few dry days would certainly help in that respect, because in places it's certainly a mud bath at the moment. Kettering have a throw-in on the far side, on the halfway line. That unsurprisingly they're in no rush to take. And eventually Kelly Evans retrieves the ball. And we'll throw it back into play to Meikle, intercepted by Mullins. Ball played long forward for Kettering. Headed away by Green. Luke Graham intercepts, but the ball falls to Michael Richins. Plays it out to Ben Toseland. And he in turn plays it long for Aaron O'Connor to run after. And I think that's a... Oh, I thought it was a Kettering throw, but in fact it's the end of time this afternoon. A very satisfying performance from the Kettering Town team this afternoon. And the final score here at Latimer Park: Kettering Town 5, Hitchin 0.
Well, that was an entertaining game, to say the least, in very difficult conditions pitch-wise, and Kettering responded to Hitchin Town in remarkable styles and remarkable goals. You'll see them on our highlights a little later in the week. The first two goals absolutely stunning, and overall the play that Kettering put in that second half was a fantastic bounce-back ability, I think is the term that we use often in the game now, and certainly they did. Marcus Law wanted a reaction. He certainly got one there. 650 witnessed the game. Man of the match was awarded to Rhys Honus. Goals were scored by Meikle, Richens, Holman, and two penalties from Brett Solkin, won by Rhys Honus. And the first one was took out as if he was shot by a sniper. So yes, interesting times there for the Poppies, and just what they needed after that disappointment of last week. They responded excellently with a fantastic 5-0 victory. Well, we do hope to get manager Marcus Law in and one of the players a little later to give their verdict on this game. But if Kettering fans were in doubt about Kettering's credentials for the title, they've certainly answered some of their critics with that display against Hitchin Town, the team who were in form, and they certainly have dispatched them with their biggest ever win against the Canaries, and certainly put themselves back in the driving seat. Not quite sure yet of the other results. I did know that Stourbridge were winning 3-0, which would keep the league table the same way as it was prior to this game. So we'll try and bring you that scoreline a little later, but if not, we'll have to wait and see when we see the results later in the evening. But yeah, it was a strange old game, really. It was, as I say, the pitch didn't help. It's going to take a lot for that pitch to recover for the next home game here, which for Kettering is on New Year's Day, a big game against Rushden, AFC Rushden and Diamonds. That is a segregated match. It's a policed match as well. Rushden fans will not be allowed inside the clubhouse. They'll have their own area designated for them for that game. Details will be on our website and media services a little later in the week. But it was great to get back to winning ways. I travelled back from Banbury last week along with Ed Palmer, and we were very, very disappointed with what we saw. This is just the tonic that we needed to boost ourselves before Christmas, and it goes into the game now against Bedworth United on Boxing Day. Everybody's tails are up, and certainly it is a lot more happy around Latimer Park than it was an hour or so ago, hour and a half ago. So yes, that's all coming up in the next few games. Bedworth United, it's a 1 o'clock kickoff on Boxing Day, followed by an interesting game against the Linnets of Kings Lynn Town. We certainly have some fiery battles against them. So that's going to be an interesting one before the big one against Diamonds. Then we have Tamworth, and then Colville. Stourbridge looms at the end of January as well. So it is going to be very, very difficult 2019 for Kettering Town indeed. Yeah, I must confess that it was a good game to commentate on. I don't think I've seen too many better goals in one game as the first two from Kettering, Meikle and Hitchin. I did say on commentary that Meikle has won the goal of the month for October and November for his strike against Stourbridge in that 4-2 win here at Latimer Park. But certainly his first goal in this game will rival that. And Hitchin's, not to be outdone, added the second goal. That was a fantastic strike as well. So you will see those goals, let's say, later in the week. We can't show them now because of our recording process is a little bit different than we used to do it live imagery, since the FA have banned us from doing so. So there we are. As I say, we do hope to get some player reaction, management reaction. I did have a quick word with Marcus before I came down from the gantry, try and get him in to have a chat. I'm sure he'll be in a lot better frame of mind than he was when I spoke to him last week at Banbury. But that was a good Hitchin side today as well. They've the top of the form table. They'd won 4 games out there, 5, and they dispatched Halesowen themselves 5-1. They have done well in recent games. They beat St Ives Town 1-0 on Tuesday night. They were an imposing team, but overall Kettering dealt with the conditions better. Their finishing was more clinical, and their approach play was better suited to the conditions than Hitchin Town we're used to. In saying that, Hitchin Town's ground, their pitch themselves is also on par, let's say, to Kettering's at times. So it's the same for both sides. But a well-deserved victory, and that gets Kettering Town back on winning ways. Let's hope that continues. Just while we're waiting for some people to come in for a chat, I can say that the Kettering Poppy Supporters Trust have in fact got their Tin Hat Fund launched. It is to help improve the whole atmosphere at Latimer Park with a new stand at the Morrison's end of the ground. It's going to cost around £25,000, so that's going to take a lot of fundraising from everybody, Gary, and it has just been launched by the Trust, and it says please support the Tin Hat Fund is what we're all saying. You can do that in a number of ways. There's going to be some fundraising initiatives by the Trust in the new year. You can also just donate anyway to the Trust Fund account, which can be found on the website or on Facebook or on Twitter accounts, or you can give money direct to any Trust member. Martin Bellamy's table, of course, where you get all your commercial and scarves and hats, etc. That can be deposited there, and we are doing bucket collections as well, and that should be a good cause. But 25,000 is a lot to raise, isn't it?
It is. Small steps, though. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So
never had one.
Well, me neither, for that matter. But no, we had the buckets on the table today, and people were being very generous with their donations, which is fantastic to see. As you say, it is a big total. This is not a small morsel for the fans to collect, but I'm sure gradually, bit by bit, and over time through the extra initiatives that will be run by the Trust, you know, the more the merrier. We'll get there eventually.
And of course, this stand will be movable. So if we do, when we do move to our new site, the stand will also go along with us, along with the Tin Hat stand at the Station Road end as we speak. So it does mean that it will be with us for a long time. So if you feel you want to donate, then please get in contact with somebody to do that. Well, we are waiting for the management and the players to come over for a chat. Gary, you up there with commentary with me. What did you make of that game? It was, as you said, you summed it quite well, actually. Quality and time.
Yeah, I thought it was a very workmanlike performance, and that is a compliment, actually, because on that kind of pitch you needed to win your individual battles, and there was a lot of effort required, and the whole team really put that kind of performance in today. And added to that, they've got the players. We said this before this season. They have got the players that can find that moment of quality. Some wonderful strikes from Michael Hitchins, Lyndon Meikle, top corner jobs. Goalkeeper, no chance with either of those. A good passing move for the third. And Rhys Honus doing what he does, making himself a nuisance, running at players in the box. He's still got that little bit of pace. Heavy pitch, the defenders come in, they don't know how to handle him. And 2 stonewall penalties this afternoon. One comfortably dispatched by Brett. The second one less so, but still ended up in the back of the net.
Hit it with power, didn't he, rather than trying to place it, the second one. So that's why it went in, I think, really.
Yeah, he got a hand to it, the keeper. Just sort of popped it into the roof of the net. Yeah, I'll say on balance of play, you'd probably say it was a little bit flattering for Kettering. Hitchin had a couple of moments in the second half in particular. Paul White made one good save, another one where he got his hand to it, and it was just a case of who it fell to, just outside the 6-yard box. Fortunately, it was Kelly Evans to make the clearance. Apart from that, yeah, they didn't really have much of a cutting edge. I thought I think we need to give a shout out to Luke Graham and Brett Selkin. I couldn't remember a game this season where they'd started together at the centre half for Kettering, and for the most part they looked pretty comfortable and kept the Hitchin forward line in check. So well done to those two players.
That is surprising, isn't it? Really, without Declan Towers as well, has been a mainstay in the team. He wasn't fit today,
not available
to play,
today,
but,
and the same with Jarrell. So there's 2 of the centre halves that have played most of the games for Kettering not playing today. So it's a busy time as well. We've got games after games every 2 or 3 days. So fitness is going to be a big call. So it'll be good to get those 2 players back into the squad for Kettering. But you know, shut things up today. 4 changes, and the players that have come in have done very well for themselves.
They have indeed, and it was good that Toseland, O'Connor and Mills could come on to give a rest to the other players as well. Holman, I thought, worked his socks off again. Cunnington, very, very unlucky. Took a lot of a battering, didn't he, from the Hitchin, and also the referee, I thought, was very unkind.
Yes, it wasn't his day today, but he'll have better days. And I think it's only a matter of time before he gets his name on the score sheet as well. But, you know, if players are putting the effort in like they've done today, sometimes it'll work out for them and sometimes that it won't. But the important thing is that they all laid the foundation for the scoreline in terms of their work rate today, and that was the most impressive thing for me.
Well, from a quagmire surface, which that was, it is the artificial surface of Bedworth on Boxing Day, sublime and ridiculous. We have players that can play better on it, and we have players that don't like it. And,
Brett Selkin, I don't think Brett will start or play if he can help it on Boxing Day. Brett really does suffer on those kind of surfaces, so I think that will be an enforced change that Marcus has to consider.
Yep, and also I remember at I think it was at Merthyr where we had Solkin and another centre back at the time, I think, injured on this playing surface, the 3G surface. So yeah, they would need to take care and attention, especially with that big game against Kings Lynn Town looming a few days later, and then the real big one, I suppose, is the game on New Year's Day, which we can say is going to be segregated. It is a policed match. It'll be the same as the Hereford AFC game last season. Russian and Diamonds fan will be housed in the Station Road end with food and drink facilities and toilets brought in and a turnstile entrance created. It's the only way that we can really accommodate fans, provide seating, which we are required to do by the league. And to help with that, Alamask once again have very kindly allowed us to use their car park for this game. The clubhouse will be used only by home supporters, so if any Russian and Diamonds fans are listening to this or hear about it, it will not be open to you. And please can you respect any decisions made on the day by the safety officer and police, and we do hope that that game goes along without any incident. It should be quite a big game attendance wise. Both teams, if the form continues in the top 5, Kettering on 44 points now. Not quite sure what the Stourbridge result was, but you did tell me it was 3-0 at one point.
3-0 last I heard, yes.
3-0, they're on 48, so we're still, as we were, 4 points behind with 3 games in hand, but certainly 5 goals to the credit, which is useful. So we'll have to wait and see on that. We'll also see how the rest of the results got on a little later. Redditch were playing Diamonds, Royston were playing Alfshire, Stourbridge we know beat Barwell, and bubbling under the top 5 was Colville Town against Leiston and St Neots Town against Stratford, the up-and-coming Stratford side managed by ex-Poppies Machin and Bailey, I believe. So that is going to be an interesting last day of the season if it ever comes down to a last day match, isn't it? Kettering Town against Stratford, Kettering Town against Kettering Town Reserves.
Yeah, let's hope
It doesn't come to that.
Yeah, let's hope it. Well, if it has to come to that, let's hope that if we get the result, then that does enough for us. But yes, the old boys will be wanting to prove a point, shan't they? That's always the case over football.
That's always the case in football. You want to get one over your former team and see what you could have done if you had the chance to do it. But there we are, that won't happen. But going back to today's game, 5-0, we are waiting for Marcus Law to come over and have a chat with us about the game. I'm sure that he's taking the plaudits at the moment, and why not? After some disappointment in recent weeks, which against Banbury and St Ives down here, the last home game. Well, Lowestoft, of course, in between side, but they responded well today, I thought, and I thought they thoroughly deserved the win. They applied themselves a lot better in difficult conditions on a difficult surface where Hitchin didn't.
No, they were by far the better side today, Kettering. Thoroughly deserved win, and yes, Marcus will clearly be far happier than he was the last weekend. But he's like me in many respects with his attitude to football. You don't get too high and you try not to get too low, and I think that's the message that he'll be coming out with. But we'll see when he gets down to the studio, Paul.
Yeah, let's have that more beat soon. We're getting a few results coming through. If you've not heard already, it is Banbury United 2, Rushall Olympic 1. They've certainly lost their way a little bit, Rushall Olympic. The big game of the afternoon, it's Biggleswade Town 1, Kings Lynn Town 2. So that is impressive for Ian Culverhouse's men. Colville 2, Leaston 2. They're just bubbling under, and Needham Market 4, Bedworth 1. That's Kettering's next opponent. It is an interesting one here. It is Redditch 2, not Scunthorpe. It is AFC Rushden and Diamonds 2 as well. Royston 0. Alvechurch 1. So since we beat Royston, they've gone down the pan something rotten, haven't they? Really,
yeah,
it's surprising, isn't it?
It is. I don't know what's going on there. I fully expected them to be around the playoff spots, but they're sinking like a stone at the moment.
And there's Stratford coming in with a 2-1 win at St Neots. Their form continues remarkably, and there's confirmation that Stourbridge beat Barwell.
Yeah, no surprise with that result.
3-0. So those are your results that matter. Tamworth, who Kettering play on the 5th of January, lost at home 2-0 to St Ives. So their current form away from home is pretty good, St Ives, although they did lose at Hitchin in midweek, but they've won that one at Tamworth. And those are your results in this division.
You look at the games coming up there, Paul, and we know about Kings Lynn away. That's going to be a tough game. As you say, Ian Culverhouse has turned that around now. They're in the playoff spots, looking like a far better team than they did at the start of the season. We know the game on New Year's Day is going to be tough, just because who it is more than anything else, and the occasion. We're going to have to play the occasion on that particular game as well. But the next game is the banana skin game. It really is.
Boxing Day games are always a bit difficult, aren't they? Looking at the records of Boxing Day, it's not good reading for Kettering normally.
No.
But we need it to be this time.
Yes.
Bedworth haven't won a game this season. It's all there, isn't it? There's
exactly.
sort of banana skin, as you say. But we'll, I'm sure we'll take that game as it comes, and Kettering will be obviously buoyed by today's fantastic performance, 5-0. And I think we have Marcus Law about to join us. I'm not quite sure. I think there's movement. There's movement in the green room behind us, so we'll try and get Marcus to come in and give us a few words. I'm sure he'll be delighted on this occasion. The people around us, though, are catching up, but Kettering still, I suppose, at sea. They are. Diamonds are on 31 points, the same as Biggleswade. Alvechurch have moved up to 33 points, so Kettering on 44, 11 points clear of the third place team, 4 behind Stourbridge. So it's all in our hands, really, with those games in hand.
Absolutely. It's still all about what Kettering are can do. That's still the thing to take away from all of this.
Okay, well, we do have Marcus Law coming in to give his thoughts and appraisal on the game. Gary will depart for the time being, and well done, Marcus. It better than the last time that we were in here, I think. Lowest off, of course. It was the time before that, wasn't it? Yes. But what a fantastic victory. Let's get on to today's game rather than that. It was bounce back ability is a word that we use quite a bit. You wanted something positive to come back to after last week's. You got it.
Yeah. Hey, look, the performance last week wasn't acceptable. Sometimes when you're a good side, your performances are not quite there, and you still have enough to get the result, or nick a draw, or certainly get a win. Last week was nowhere near. Admittedly, it was sucker punches, it was individual errors. Game management was poor. So we had a in-house meeting, constructed with the staff and the players. Lots of positives came out of it in terms of what needs to be done or restructured. You know, from my direction to my staff's direction to what they expect of each other, from individuals and each department, and we brought out the values that's required, and certainly we highlighted them today, and we wanted to tick as many of them values off as possible, which we did. And you know, there's no surprise that when you do, you get a positive result.
4 changes from last week, all positive. I think Declan's not fit, but
yeah, Declan 10 o'clock this morning texting. He'd been up all night ill. You know, for whatever reason, it happens. So quite comfortable in having Brett and Luke as the
did well, didn't they?
Yeah, they got a lot of experience. We probably didn't play as high as we normally did, which was part of our discussion, so it kind of probably suited. So that they're talking, their experience and know-how certainly come to the fore. Very heavy for them out there. I'm sure tomorrow and Monday they're going to be very stiff and sore. Yeah. But
take a bit of that pitch recover as well, wasn't it, for New Year's?
Yeah, we ended up making substitutions with that in mind. Of course, 3-0, we were able to do that.
3-0, then it became the Reece Honer show, didn't it? He really took over and ran out.
I mean, you've got everyone. We got to the end of November. We scored. We conceded 2 away from home. We conceded 6 at home. We looked very, very solid. And what's happened in December is the weather has slowed the game down. The weather is more diverse. Teams are happy to get a draw against us, and they set out that way. Hitchin today set out the same. And Banbury, ironically, did exactly the same. Yeah. Now, if I give you my reports on them over the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's very conflicting to how they turn up and play Kettering. So we know that. But it's very difficult to, you're down to individuals then, making the right decision at the right time, whether it be defensively, whether it be shape, whether it be a technical. And last week, through bad technical and bad shape, we got massively punished. All 4 goals, though 2 were from corners, were all from counter-attack in terms of us giving the ball away. So that was one of our big discussions on, okay, we're in possession of the ball. What is our shape in terms of dealing with one of us is going to make a mistake and give it away? And that was a lot better today.
In fact, it was then, wasn't it, when the ball was in the mud, it sort of stopped and we.
Well, yeah, the Latimer mud is a totally different concept. Ironically, some of our new players or the lads that we've had new this season, it's going to take them a while to get used to. So we made changes to accommodate that, and also we stuck with the same shape that we did last week, but we felt that we just needed to tweak the dynamics of it at here. Don't think that will be the right kind of team for Bedworth.
No, we were saying about the artificial pitch. One or two players tend to struggle a bit.
Some players struggle with it. Some people thrive. Style of football kind of changes. So we need to make the right decision. Considering we got Kings in straight after that, which is, you know, a big, wide, good non-league ground pitch. So, you know, we've gone from a very compact, small, you can be dominating and our pace, like just nipping through on people, and with a now add-on physicality, we can, you know, we can sort of get on top of people, which, you know, worked. Bedworth's going to be, you know, quite a technical game. Use of the ball is going to be very important, and speed of play. And then you get to Kings Lynn, it's going to be, you know, you're away from home, it's going to be a decent crowd. They're a very good side, very well structured, got lots of experience in management and know how to win games. So, excuse me, we need to accommodate that and make sure that, you know, probably the people recovering through this tough week, we give an opportunity that everyone can be at their optimum. So, but going back to the discussion of, like, you know, how teams come against us, and I said about a bit of luck and a bit of technical. The 2 goals for us today totally changed the game. I know goals change game, but out the 2 teams, excuse me, yet again, Paul White doesn't make a save till the second half. Their keeper's made a good save. Gary Storr has just gone the wrong side of the post. It certainly was us in the ascendancy, and, you know, they were defending with numbers and doing very well. And then, you know, you needed something sublime from someone, and, you know,
you got them twice.
Lyndon popped up, and, you know, a fantastic strike, and that's what you need. And fortunately for us, we've got players all across the park who can pull that out of the bag, and they did today. They didn't last week, and then that kind of starts swinging it a bit more. It changes their mindset. At what point do they come out? And then the goal before the half time, whether Rico meant it, only video will show that.
We'll see that later on in the week.
That you know, that then half time, totally different conversation. Now we got to game manage it. For them, what have they got to do? Are they happy to be losing? Are they going to try? And all of a sudden, when they come out,
but the third goal was even better, wasn't it? Well worked goal, wasn't it?
But look what the opposition are doing to allow us then to, you know, teams know they can't give us space. And I don't mind saying it on media, because if other managers are of opposition, we know what they're going to do. I'd love teams to go toe to toe with us. I'd love that. But as mentioned by a lot of managers to me, the Reece, Aaron, Adam, Dan Holman, they're not comfortable having to go toe to toe with them. They're certainly not comfortable with them dealing with Marcus Kelly and Lyndon. You know, we our strength is our weakness there. People are scared of that. So discussions this week was, if teams are going to try and spend most of the time having to deal with them, we've got to make sure that we're not gifting them stuff. And today, as like Lowestoft, we did that.
Difficult time of year coming up though, Marcus, now with Christmas and New Year, with the holiday in there as well, the festivities obviously of Christmas Day. You've dealt with it for years, obviously. You know what goes through players' minds, etc. But this time of year can dictate the season.
It's key, and, you know, they're semi-professional footballers, so they still have the right to enjoy. All I ask them is the timing of when they enjoy. Back in our day, nightclubs were closed at 2 o'clock, and
yeah, you're right.
And you were staggering home with a kebab. If you couldn't afford the taxi, you know, you were probably home for 3 o'clock, and you were fast asleep. Nowadays, nowadays there's places open to ridiculous hours. There's different types of drink that are more potent, shall we call them. And the recovery is far different. I know when we're younger, your metabolism, you know, it does go through quicker. But I just said to them, they've just got to be sensible, and they've got to respect what we do as a club, how we conduct ourselves, and pick and choose the moments. You know, I expect, like most professional footballers and semi-professional footballers who know they've got to go out and put a shift on Boxing Day, to be the driver for the family, enjoy the festive spirits.
Literally
try and enjoy the Christmas dinner, not too much, but enjoy it, and let Boxing Day and the day after be, you know, probably run it off, run Boxing Day off on the following day, It'd be difficult for us to get them back in over that period of time. You're also worried. A lot of people travelling. You know, we've got a squad that travel a fair distance to come in. So do we benefit from them from an hour and a half journeys to get in to do recovery? So we'll probably put that on them to make sure they're ready for the games. So yeah, it's. I always say to teams at this time of year, because unfortunately I'm always at the top end of tables, is how much they want to be getting promoted at this time of year. If that's what drives them. Do they want to be rolling around in April? Oh, do they want to roll around like we did against Slough, wondering why we didn't make it? And maybe it was something over Christmas that we could have done better. So if it's about promoting, getting promotion, and the want for that, then they'll do the right thing. Some will probably try and get away with it. They do. I know players at the higher level. They do. You know, they're young lads and.
Brett might even have his wallet out.
No chance. No chance. I mean, the chairman's been absolutely brilliant. He's bought the lads a drink for those who are not driving, and he give the money to Brett. And I don't understand why, because I know exactly where that's gone, and everyone will be looking around for him. So
he'll have gone, will he?
Oh yeah, he'll be long gone. But look, this is a fantastic club, some fantastic people. I love this club. Growing up for whatever reason, you know, even though I'm from not around the county, I do my absolute utmost on and off the field. Probably do a bit more than what managers would do at this kind of level, which can only be backed up by, you know, what the owner or the chairman would say. But you know, we give everything, and I want the players to replicate at the times. And times like last week, players didn't do it, and I get brought to task. You know, I get brought to task pretty much every Sunday and Monday. Conversations are easier when you win, obviously, but they're constructive conversations. You know, asking why this happened, that happened, and we look at it. Was it tactical? Was it shape? Was it individual errors? Now, and that's the grey area, because end of October we looked formidable.
We did.
End of November we looked really strong and solid at the back, and now the armoury's dented and there's little creaks.
That will have done confidence the world of good, won't it? Performance
today
like
will, yeah.
It's a good side. They were a form team.
They were, well, yeah. They got goals and they were winning games, and we looked like what we've done. And ironically, it's not the same back four that got us the clean sheet 2 weeks ago. And that's where my task is really difficult, because the back four that played last week had been was nigh on the back four that played against Aldershot that everyone was like raving about, and yet we only let 2 in against Aldershot, unfortunately, and yet Banbury we let 4. And I'm happy to take criticism, because I criticise myself like pretty much near nigh on every day. Hence why I'm never smiling.
I see smart ones.
And I reflect a lot, and I take on constructive criticism. In hindsight, I agree with what people say sometimes, in terms of, well, yeah, that's the easy bit when you know what the opposition are doing. Yeah. Like I said, the reports on Banbury wide open. They try and play through the middle. You were there.
That's all right.
Hiding the footballs.
Yeah. From the word go.
From the minute, you know, frustrated us, and okay, that gamesmanship side of it hurt us. But I don't believe players, and I don't believe myself, with what we do for the club and how we conduct ourselves and what we try and achieve on and off the field. I don't think we should be being called clown, donkey, imbecile. I don't think we deserve that. Exactly. Criticise me. You can say you don't think I know what I'm doing. That's fine. You can say reasons why, because you think I don't play with wingers, I play with too many forwards. You know, I got ridiculed last week playing 3 up top. Well, I'll play 3 up top today. Is that
scored 5?
Yeah, is that wrong then? So
well, you got 5
okay, personnel changed, circumstance changed. I get that. That's fine, and I can sit here and say that when we win 5-0, as like people when I lose can criticise me, but I wouldn't stand here and insult the people who criticise me over my decisions.
No.
We had a bit of fun with the crowd back there. Enjoyed it, and if that's going to be part of the motivation, then yeah, carry on with that. Just be careful about insulting.
That's football, though, isn't it? We've seen like in the national news recently of the way that the fans have reacted to certain players and certain individuals. It's unfortunately part and parcel of the game. Isn't
but is it? Should it be?
It shouldn't be. No, it shouldn't be.
Social media is fantastic for advertising, news feeds, and getting the word out there. The weakness is give the no man a voice.
Well, exactly. It's always been the way, though, isn't it?
No. Social media is now give the no man a voice. 10 years ago, the no man didn't have a voice.
Well, social media was in its infancy then, wasn't it?
Yeah, but this is the point I'm getting at. So now, the person who didn't have a voice
has one.
Yeah, and misuses his voice. Now, okay, admittedly, you don't have to follow, but people retweet or forward on. That's fine, but then it becomes cancerous. It spreads around, and it's not positive, or it's what has this person achieved to be able to have this opinion? What have they done? Would I sit here and criticise the eye surgeon who couldn't flip the lens in my eye on Monday? Should that not have happened? Should I abuse him? Should I insult him? Or do I just respect that he does his absolute best for what he's been educated in?
It's the latter, isn't it?
Can't see now, mine, but I'm joking. No, I just think it's just it get times get out of perspective, and people have their right to their opinion, but you just keep it within your circle. Now it comes out, and unfortunately it gets into the wrong hands and the wrong people. I'm worried if I'm still managing in 5 to 8 years time, and my daughters start going on social media, which they're going to, and they read that stuff. Now people will say, like you said, oh, that's part and parcel. Let's get it into perspective. It's level 3 football, part-time. Criticise me for my football management. Criticise me for the wrong selection, the wrong formation, wrong players, wrong tactics when we were 2-0 up. Fine. Don't insult me, because there's people who are close to me then could end up reading that, and that's wrong.
It is wrong.
Don't follow, don't read it. Well, okay. Say my daughter links into Kettering, that then you retweet something. And you can't help but read it.
No.
And I've seen managers be sacked because of the trolling that goes on. Not sacked, sorry, resigned. And I just don't agree at this level, and possibly the level higher, that it should be brought to task. And it's up to Richie and Dave and Neil if they want to say, but I'm in. And I don't mean I'm always going to be the manager here. I'm in, and I will work my absolute socks off and do everything I can to help us progress on and off the field, because I love the people involved and I want to make it happen. But there's a few individuals out there who just go over the line a wee bit, and we probably need the other people to self-manage it and help support me. And you know what? As much as I don't want to, we might end up losing another game this season.
That might be a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah, and there might be a couple more, but it's not for the want of trying to win and do the right thing.
Can only lose 6.
Can only lose 6.
And lose 6.
And we're 3 at the minute.
You're 3. You can only lose 6. In my book, you can only lose 6. The team that wins it only loses 6.
Loses 6. What's the average on?
2.
Are they really? Mm. And they've played more as well.
3 more.
They've drew more though, haven't they?
Yeah.
So what's your draw? What's your draw stats though? If you can only lose 6, what can you?
I've not done the draw at the moment.
Oh right.
Well, I'm only doing wins and losers. Losses.
But if you lose an extra 1.
Well, we are less games this year, aren't we, as well?
Yeah, but if you lose that extra 1, but if they lose 1 less, but they drew 3 instead of winning 3, how does that work?
It's like Biggleswade here, isn't it? As well, they've drawn 7.
Yeah.
And although they lost today. And they're 11 points behind.
Yeah, so how many? I think Starbridge drew far more than us.
Yeah, they've drawn 6,
and we drew 2, 3. Yeah,
but no, it's
you got to do the math on that now.
I have. I've got to do
finish out some homework. So, what's the ratio of draws to the wins that makes the 6 if it goes over the 6? How many did we lose last year?
Lost. Oh, that's a good point. Is it 8?
Was it 8?
Yeah.
What did everyone in the playoffs lose about 8?
Slough.
We didn't draw enough.
No, didn't draw enough games. We won a loss, didn't we? But
yeah.
But again, it's in our hands, isn't it? 3 games ahead, behind.
Well,
the whole thing is in our hands.
And that's the pressure of every game now. If them games,
do you feel under more pressure now than when we were points ahead of Stourbridge? When or not? Because you said to me it's all about chasing, and now we're chasing a little bit.
Yeah, it's if we're going to make the advantage of the games in hand, then when we're playing on the same day, we've got to match, if not better. We can't do it worse. Yeah. So that's the challenge.
Today being a prime example, isn't it?
But we've all got to play all each other. So, for instance, if we've done really well today in terms of we're playing a team high in the form, not conceding many, scoring goals, winning games. Whereas, I'm not sure who Stourbridge were playing, but where were they in the form time? So it's the form table that's key. That's not the same Hitchin side we played at the start. See, that certainly is not the Hitchin side that got beat 7 or 8 at
Needham Market.
Yeah. So you look at Stratford now. They've done a fantastic job in what they've done there.
As your Canaries form, you can see they only won one of the first 13 games or so.
Yeah. So and look at Stratford. They're not a team you want to be playing at the minute.
Really, we had a good time, didn't we?
Yeah, certainly. And they're on song. They've got things tight. They're doing the right things. I watched the Tamworth game. They had 10 men and warranted the win. They wanted it more. And we've got them towards the end of the last game of the season. So would that bode well for us? Stourbridge, I don't think they've played them yet.
No.
We've got to play Stratford twice. Then admittedly it flips that we're going to end up playing some informed teams where Stourbridge have already played them.
We always play an informed team, Hitchin. We don't
so you're blaming the fixtures by that?
I'm blaming the I'm not blaming anything that goes in our favour,
you've all, and that's the having managed at the higher level, that's the big difference when you're lower. You don't always play the same kind of side. Because of change of management and personnel. I mean, Tamworth have just gone and Tamworth, who finding it difficult this year to get a foothold of the league, they've gone and signed the main striker at Stratford,
Mike Taylor.
And so that's a loss for Stratford. Admittedly, I know they've brought someone else in, but it's tough for Stratford because they're the right end of the table. You think you're going to try and keep hold of people, but big clubs come in and they do what they do. And now we're going to play against Mike Taylor on the 5th at Tamworth. So it's the point I'm trying to get at is this league, because it's non-contract. People can, once they're not getting in the side or the law of a better deal or more local, then that can happen. I mean, we're going through a situation where we've got a player who, not everyone knows the location of everyone, and one lad in particular is struggling. So that affects a few things. We're fortunate to have signed three fantastic players who are more local, are coming down the leagues, and the circumstances have suited. That makes a big difference as well in terms of what players you can pull in at what point. Dan Holman wasn't very happy at Aldershot, and it was a case of which club locally knew and could do something about it and help him do what he's trying to do outside football. And what a fantastic player he's been since he's joined us.
He's on 9 goals.
And how many is that in the league? Is that six now?
Yeah.
So he's probably 5 or 6 off Greg Mills. Greg Mills
he's on 18. I think.
Is it 18?
He's got quite a few recently. That's
so probably a bit out of his reach.
But then Mills has played all season, hasn't he? And
Paul
hasn't. So.
But
it's about 13 games isn't it?
We've brought Adam in to help us physical. I think 2 of our goals have come from his physicality today. I think Reece got a lot of joy of that.
Unfortunate today, Cunnington even.
Yeah.
Old teeth aren't working.
As another lethal striker, probably just dipping form, or the knock against Lowestoft probably was a little bit more serious than what we thought. So I just thought with these conditions, and Reece is biting at the bit. But Reece would be the first to admit that the last month, when he's been having the opportunity, he hasn't really took it. Today we've seen the Reece from the start of the season.
Exactly.
And that's what happens over the course of the season. It's the management and the motivation of getting people going. Unfortunately, footballers don't think like that. They think they do the same week in, week out, and if they don't, they'll give you a reason why, and it certainly won't be them. That's the role. That's how they do it. So
find that hard to believe.
But no, this group, they're in it. The meeting they had this week, they're fully focused. They know what they know. We know what we've done wrong. That's all of us, staff included, and great response.
Great response. Thank you, Marcus, for that.
No problem.
That's fantastic. Have a great Christmas, and we'll see you at Bedworth on Boxing Day. 1 o'clock kickoff. Remember that.
1 o'clock, yes.
1 o'clock
So we've
kickoff,
got to be there. Yeah.
We'll be there.
At least we know we're going to be frozen.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Marcus, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to be all from Poppy's TV this Christmas. We'll be at Bedworth on Boxing Day, but from me and the team, good night.